All right. Come over here. Go to live. Search. Oh. Okay. One moment. Mute that. Where do I get to see the chat? Theater mode, picture in picture. Where's the draft though? Where's the chat?
Oh my God.
You right there?
I'm making a mess over here. All right. Trying to get
What's up,
that
everybody?
seat in.
Just trying to figure out where the chat. Oh, there it is. All right. What is up, everybody? Hold on, I'm just trying to get everything set up. All right. Let's get it going. We out here.
Yeah.
It is Bert. It is Certified T. We are here for a draft day watch party and podcast. If you are interested in the NFL draft, if you aren't able to watch the NFL draft, if you just love talking sports and want to kick it with us, we are your guys. We are going to bring you through this entire first round of the draft, and we are going to make sure we hit you with all the in-depth details we can possibly give you. Are you ready? We're going to start it off with a what's up introduction. Hey guys, how are you? Welcome in out there on the TikTok world. We see you. Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're at watching us. Thank you all for joining. We are going to watch the NFL live, the NFL draft live here today. We're going to go through some podcasts. We're going to have some fun. If you want to watch the draft with us and you're on TikTok, hop on over to our Twitch feed at Fresh Pulls. We got the draft live streaming as well. We're going to bring you up into the draft. What up, Teddy? Say what up to the people.
What's going on, guys? We're going to do the best we can here. We're all set up. We got our technology. So hopefully we'll be able to provide you guys with some good information, and hopefully you guys will be able to provide us with some.
Thank you for that. We are going to get right into it. What everybody wants to know, what everybody is talking about, the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots are on the board at the 21st pick. They trading out T.
I mean, that's a Bill Belichick special, right? But no. I actually, I think there's too much talent and too much value at that position for them to trade out. I think they have four needs: linebacker, cornerback, really deep in terms of wide. Bill obviously is about value, so he knows he can find a wide receiver in the in the third round. But I actually think they're going to stay packed, and that they're going to go ahead and choose Daxton Hill. They're going to go with a safety out of Michigan. I think he can do a little bit of everything. He played some corner. He played some safety. I think they'll put him at safety. And, Bill loves his versatile players. Looks like we got a chat comment. Giants better get Neal at 5. I think that's a lock.
As far as the Patriots are concerned, obviously they have a lot of issues. They haven't actually gotten any better in the preseason, which every other team in the AFC did.
Correct.
Their lack of success drafting, not just cornerbacks, but overall drafting has not been good for the Patriots over the last 4 or 5 years. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we can really hang our hats on any of these draft picks besides maybe Mac Jones after one season. But the Patriots are in an interesting position. They need some help from Mac Jones. Their offensive line is pretty much solidified. Their backfield is their backfield. They really need some help from Mac Jones if they're going to make this the kid. And I think they might be able to do that. I think Patriots, it kind of sneaks into one of my bold predictions later, but I think the Patriots make a move and go up and get that wide receiver from Alabama. Remind me his name.
Wow.
Remind me his name. Williams. What's Javante? Jameson Williams. I think the Patriots jump up and go get Jameson Williams out of Alabama. I think that's one of their best fits. The kid should have probably been a top 10, top 5 pick if he didn't tear the ACL. So I'm really excited to see if the Patriots actually jump up in the draft to make a move. I'd be super excited to see if they do that and when they think the right time would be. I think probably around 12 to 15 is probably the right range frame for them to snag that from him. But I don't know. I'd really like to see that out of the Patriots. What are your thoughts on that, kid?
So I love them. I think obviously they have a really good track record in terms of wide receivers coming from Alabama. I'm going to go ahead and say that if they do take a wide receiver, I think they actually go Dotson, the wide receiver out of Penn State, really just based on scheme fit. So he's undersized. I think he measured around 5'11". He had a blazing fast 40, but not as fast as I think he is on tape. I think he ran a 4.4, but does a great job filling in everywhere on the field. And I think bringing in Devontae Parker kind of solves your a little bit of your like big body deep threat, where I think they would want next to bring in a guy who just really can put pressure on the defense from anywhere on the field. And I think that's Dotson. I guess we'll see, right?
Yeah, I'm super excited. I mean, obviously, if I'm placing a bet on DraftKings, shout out DraftKings, if I'm placing a bet on the Patriots, I'm betting the Patriots to either move out of the first round or probably draft a fucking offensive lineman. Who knows? Something stupid. Or they'll trade it for like 17 seventh-round picks in the next 4 years. Something crazy. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand it, but we'll see. That brings us up. Top 2 picks. Number 1 consensus pick. Like, we thought Aidan Hutchinson was the clear-cut number 1, but the closer and closer we got to tonight, we see that there's a really like a 2, maybe 3-man race. Definitely a 2-man race in Trayvon Walker and Aidan Hutchinson. What are your thoughts? Who goes 1? Who goes 2? What are we thinking, T?
So I think Walker ends up being the first pick, which is that's a huge risk. You're taking the guy who was not the consensus number 1 overall pick, which I think is worrisome. Obviously, if it doesn't go right, somebody might get fired. But I'll take him number 1, and I think that he's just a better scheme fit. And I think they're going upside here. What they had him as a comp was
I forgot to press record, ladies and gentlemen. Nick, scrub that from TikTok or Twitch.
What for Jacksonville? I think Walker is the better scheme fit, and they had as a player comp Eric Armstead. It's a good player comp. I would actually go Jadeveon Clowney as my player comp. So when you talk about upside and scheme fit, I think that that's the pick that they're going to go with, which makes things really, really, really easy for the Lions at number 2.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's obviously defensive heavy first few picks. Obviously, it's a very defensive heavy draft for the most part. But one of the things to keep an eye for is a surprise pick in the first pick. Since there's no consensus number 1 overall pick, even though it probably should be Aidan Hutchinson, the guy just is one of this generation's Joey Bosa's, Khalil Mack, Nick Bosa. He's just a once-in-a-generation type player. And to be able to solidify him into your defensive lineman as the Jaguars and really help take that defense back over would be a big help. One surprise name I want to put out there, he's not on anyone's top 5, I don't think, is Kyle Hamilton. He went out and had the best combine there was out of any player in the entire draft. And the kid just is intangibles just don't match. As a to be able to get a lockdown safety like that and create what will be a new Legion of Boom, essentially, because the Jaguars could make a splash and move back into this and get up and grab another nice cornerback. So they could essentially create a Legion of Boom scenario in the next 2 to 3 seasons, which would be huge for them. And that would all start with Kyle Hamilton, in my opinion. But that's obviously a long shot opinion.
I'm going to jump in right there because I think Kyle Hamilton, if there wasn't such a stigma on drafting safeties that high, I think it would make sense, to pick him up. I think when you look at a player with the least amount of weaknesses outside of the defensive lineman. I think
What up, WrestleManiac?
Kyle Hamilton fits right there. Honestly,
Emmanuel, hold on. I'm cutting you off. Emmanuel, they have the QB of the future already. His name is Jordan Love. Don't at me. Don't question me. Don't worry about it. They are all set in the quarterback department forever if they keep this kid.
What's up, WrestleManiac? Yeah, I agree. Jordan Love is the next guy for the Packers at quarterback. I don't think there's any question. I do think they do need a quarterback and to think about their future. I think you're right there, but I think they have them.
That brings us right into the next topic. Will a quarterback go high? If so, where?
Just real quick, just because I don't want anybody to forget this, or I don't want there to be any confusion. My pro comp for Kyle Hamilton is it's kind of a consensus pro comp, but it's Ed Reed. So I want to make it clear why he said that could be a surprise pick. The only questions were his 40 time. He ran a slow 40 at his pro day after running a 4.5 at the combine. He ran a 4.7 at his pro day. So let's make that clear. He's great.
Jordan Love's a star. That brings us right into the next point, though. Will a quarterback go high, and if so, where?
Yeah,
what do you think?
That's tough, man. I've gone back and forth on this quite a bit. My dark horse originally, this was pre-combine. You know what? Just so that nobody has any questions about the authenticity of this, who did I say was going to go number 2 overall? Do you remember? The quarterback I thought was going to go number 2.
Way back when?
Oh, yeah.
Malik Willis.
Yeah. So just in case I've come off that pick, but just in case that was my early pick before combine and everything, before he started setting everything on fire. But I think the first place that you see a quarterback become a question is number 6 to the Panthers. They tried to get Deshaun Watson. They tried to get Baker Mayfield. They tried to get Matt Ryan. They struck out with all of them. Right, so at some point they're going to need to address quarterback, and the question is whether or not they're going to do it in the second round. I think there's going to be too much talent for them to draft a quarterback at number 6. So then the next team on the list goes down to the Falcons at 8. Right, and like it's possible. Malik Willis is from Atlanta. So it would be a hometown kid being picked. It could happen that way. But more realistically, I'm going to have to say that the first quarterback likely goes all the way down to 16, and that's Malik Willis to the Saints.
That's where you get the first quarterback going, 16 to the Saints?
Yeah.
16 to the Saints, folks. You heard it here first. I get a different take. I do believe that if he doesn't go 6, he goes 8. I just think the Panthers and the Falcons, mainly the Falcons, cannot miss on a quarterback right now. They might have to draft 2 quarterbacks in the first 2 rounds. The Falcons really just can't miss. Marcus Mariota is not a starting NFL quarterback. He is a very, very solid backup quarterback, but definitely not a superstar quarterback. My big prediction, my other bold prediction, I should say, is if Malik Willis starts to fall, if he starts to slip, you could see Bill Belichick go get another quarterback. I know it sounds crazy, folks. I know you guys think I'm out of my mind. I think Bill Belichick takes a quarterback in the first round of this NFL draft this year. Not necessarily for any other reason besides to push Mac Jones and to get some trade value out of him. I think there's going to be a lot of teams looking for quarterbacks this year, and if you can have a proven young quarterback on a rookie contract, I think it could be very valuable for what Bill likes to play. So I would not be shocked if the Patriots jumped up and grabbed a quarterback somewhere in the first round.
I think that's wild.
Yeah, of course it's wild.
Yeah, which is why it's a bold prediction. I'm going to have to give one later.
I believe, though, truly he falls. The first quarterback is not Malik Willis, and I truly believe the first quarterback off the board is the best quarterback in the draft that nobody knows about, nobody's hearing about. And the first quarterback that comes off the board is to the Carolina Panthers, and his name is Samuel Howell.
Okay, so
you heard it here first, folks. Samuel Howell to the Carolina Panthers.
So I think you got the team right. If it was going to be anybody, I think you got the team right. Yeah, some people are comparing him to Jay Cutler. But here's the thing. There's a lot of rumors that Carolina loves Kenny Pickett. So I think if Carolina was to go get a quarterback, then I think they would go get Kenny Pickett. I think what's more likely to happen is like that's possible, right? But what's more likely to happen is that somewhere around the early teens, that teams start to get nervous about Malik Willis. We know that the Steelers were looking at him at 20. We know that the Saints are looking at quarterbacks, a little earlier than that at 16. Then you have, a few surprise teams like the Titans and stuff like that are later on, down the line. You have Washington, who obviously, just signed or just traded for Carson Wentz, but they're sitting at 11. So I think somewhere in that range, you could start to see people get a little nervous about that. And what do we got? We got a comment from SuperDad413 that the Pats take a cornerback or a linebacker.
It's definitely not a linebacker.
No, here's the problem. I think linebacker is probably one of their biggest needs.
But it's the worst position in this entire draft.
Yeah, so if they were going to pick anybody,
maybe tight end,
it would be the kid out of Georgia, Nakobe Dean. Here's the issue with him, right? I think he's 5'11". His measurables are poor, and he's not a great scheme fit. So he has things working against him. Like Bert said, he is not, unfortunately, a great linebacker because there aren't really any early in the draft. If they go corner, the problem is going to be there's a huge drop-off. So by the time they get to him, you're not going to have any elite guys left, at least from my opinion. So it would be Andrew Booth Jr., who I think would fit in that role. The only problem is he does gamble quite a bit, right? And what we know about Bill is it's do your job. So for a guy who gambles a la Asante Samuel, he gambles quite a bit. He's going to give up some touchdowns. I don't know if that's the type of defense that Bill wants to play. But look, you got the two of the needs right. I just don't think that they can necessarily get their best value addressing them that early in the draft.
Ideal landing spot for Malik Willis and why? Quick.
The ideal spot, I would say, is probably the Steelers.
Falcons for me because they already had a player in Malik Willis, like a Malik Willis when they had Michael Vick. They can use a lot of that same packaging. He's obviously a bigger body than Michael Vick, runs a little bit slower than Michael Vick, but is a Michael Vick-like quarterback.
Yeah, not as shifty as Michael Vick. Different running style. The man looks like a running back when he runs. So
why do you get him going to the Steelers?
So more durable. I just want to touch on really quick how great that pick is because, like I mentioned, he is a hometown kid. So he grew up in Atlanta. We know that Atlanta is really about scheme fit. When you look at another sport like basketball, they drafted Trae Young. Or traded that Trae Young pick over Luka Doncic because they thought Trae Young was a better cultural fit in Atlanta than Luka Doncic. So that is something that they look at in Atlanta. My only problem is he played at Liberty. He didn't play extremely well against great competition. You're sending him to what I think is the worst roster in the NFL with a wide receiver that's not playing this year.
Couldn't disagree with that thought right there. Why Pittsburgh?
So everybody knows this system. Yeah, Mitch the bitch in that position to hold it down.
That's Mike.
Hey,
tall Mike. DG.
What's going on, brother? So I think you put him in that system. You have Mitch Trubisky who can sort of start things off for you while he learns the system, and at some point Mitch could hand things off to him, and you have a team that doesn't have as many holes as some of the other teams. So you don't have to necessarily protect him as much as you do with some of these other teams.
Kenny Pickett, where's he go and why?
Man, this is the one that's been plaguing me because at some point we have to talk about quarterbacks maybe falling out of the first round. I think potentially the Buccaneers. I don't think it's a terrible place for him. I think he's got to go somewhere where there isn't going to be pressure for him to start in year one, and I just don't know how many teams have that situation.
Agreed, and that's why my pick is Minnesota Vikings or the New York Giants.
Wow.
New York Giants, you possibly get a start in year one because Danny Dimes is, Danny Dimes. And in Minnesota, you get the six for Kenny Pickett. Ideally, I'd like to see him fall into the lands of the Vikings because I think the Vikings have a really good offense and can really utilize that kid. I'm just not a big fan of the Giants. That's my pick for Kenny Pickett. And one more just because it's my boy and I'm high on him, Sam Howell. Where do you get Sam Howell going and why?
Oh, man, I think that's a tough one because I don't see him getting drafted high. So he's going to come in as a quarterback that we know is going to be a backup immediately. So, like, similar to, like, the Jordan Love plan where it's like, all right, you may be sitting for 2 years. You may be sitting for 3 years. So I would say could potentially be that's really tough. The Titans would be a good fit there.
Titans are one of my picks as well. I also like the Lions with the last pick in the first round to snag them up.
So if you're saying that Kenny Pickett might go to the Giants, then you would be projecting him for the second round, right? Like you're not talking about the Giants going up and taking him with a top 7 pick, right?
They wouldn't be crazy to. And I'll tell you why, because I think Sam Howell is the best quarterback in this draft. I'll tell you why. He is a very Baker Mayfield, Johnny Manziel, Tim Tebow type combination. I use Tim Tebow because even though Sam Howell is small in the sense of big quarterbacks, he plays like a big quarterback. He hits people like a big quarterback. When he's running the ball, he's Cam Newton running the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like Tim Tebow was. When he's running around trying to make plays, he's as elusive as Johnny Manziel was in that pocket, not being able to get touched, being able to scramble out of there. And when I say Baker Mayfield is the smartest of those 3 quarterbacks when it comes to quarterback play itself. Granted, he's a terrible quarterback, but he's the smartest quarterback of the 3. And that's why I think Sam Howell's a perfect combination of 3 guys that should have, could have, would have, but didn't, all combined into one, and we'll see it all play out in Sam Howell.
So here's my issue with the Giants drafting a quarterback in the first round. Their picks are so high. So they have the 5th pick, and then they have the 7th pick, right? They have a need on the offensive line. And in my opinion, you have 3 of the best offensive linemen that I've seen in probably the last decade. In terms of these 3 guys, I think would be top 10 in any draft in the last decade. And so at 5, I think they go Evan Neal because I think they have to. And then at 7, they're going to have a choice between taking an offensive lineman or probably taking an elite corner, right? Because we assume.
You think they take 2 offensive linemen?
Yeah, look, I think there's a chance. And I think if you're the
Giants. Because they have 3 already?
Well, okay, here's the thing, right? You have what is his name?
From BC.
Andrew Thomas, right? As your left tackle. You have Saquon Barkley, although he can't stay healthy, right? So you have what people consider an elite running back when healthy. You have a quarterback that is going into the end of his rookie contract. So you have to play him this year because you have to figure out if he's being kept on. And they have done him a disservice in terms of not protecting him, not giving him the best chance to shine, and not getting to see what he is. So I think, although it'd be super unconventional to take 2 offensive linemen that early, you have 3 offensive linemen in the top 10 of this draft who are day 1 starters. You get to literally revamp your entire offensive line in one draft, in the first round of one draft. You get 2 guys that are potentially all pros within their first 3 years. And that might be really hard to pass up. Or the other option is that you take one offensive lineman at Evan Neal, and then you get an elite corner, whether it's Stingley or whether it's Sauce. One of them I think is going number 3. The other one is going to slide. And then you literally get a guy who should be going top 3, but slides down to you at 7. Because I just don't see the Panthers passing up an opportunity at an offensive lineman.
I hope Houston, because they're early enough, listens to this podcast and figures out how to get Kyle Hamilton and Sauce Gardner on the same team. If you can get Kyle Hamilton and Sauce Gardner on the same team, you created the Legion of Boom for the next 5 years. The only 3 teams that are in position to do that currently with the way the draft board is right now is the Texans, the Giants, and the Jets. Out of those 3 teams, the Jets could make the biggest jump in the AFC this year with everything that has already happened in the AFC. If the Jets at 4 get to grab Sauce Gardner or Kyle Hamilton, and then at 10 get to grab the other one, or even maybe sneak up a spot or 2 to grab the other one, they now have a phenomenal defense with a very, very good young offense. And I think the Jets would be dangerous. That's why I hope, even though I'm a Patriots fan, I hope that we can see this happen with the Jets, because I think the AFC could really use a team like the Jets to be that much more solid with their defense.
So I don't hate that really at all. I think the problem is going to be that there is going to be a dominant force on the defensive line at 4.
Oh, they're checking out the suits. Let's see who comes out with the hottest suit. That brings us up to the next point, running backs. Is there any running backs in the first round worth taking, and is there such a thing anymore? To give you guys a quick idea out there in the podcast, in the TikTok, Twitter universe, Twitchverse, the social media, everywhere.com. Last year, first round, Travis Etienne and Harris, Najee Harris. Other people, Trey Sherman, Michael Carter, Javonte Williams, Chuba Hubbard, and Mitchell. Those were not first rounders. 2020 first rounders, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Other rounds, Swift, Taylor, Akins, Dobbins. 2019, Josh Jacobs. Other, Miles Sanders. 2018, first rounders, Saquon Barkley, Penny, and Mitchell.
Michael. Brashard Penny and
Sony Michel. Others, Chubb and Edmonds. 2017, Fournette and McCaffrey first rounders.
That's probably the best one, yeah.
Others, Cook, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, Kareem Hunt, James Connors, Aaron Jones.
Oh, man.
2016 first rounders, Zeke. Others, Derrick Henry. 2015, Todd Gurley and Melvin Gordon. Others, David Johnson and Jay Ajayi. So what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, is there a running back that is worth getting in the first round in this draft? The answer is no. And is it such a thing anymore? Should we go up and get a running back when you are getting guys that are probably better in the second, third, fourth rounders?
Yeah, I mean, I think you answered it. There's no way that getting a running back in the first round is worth it anymore. I think there are some situations where you have to.
I do like the Jets trading and getting Deebo Samuel and letting San Fran get into the mix of things. I do like that as well.
Yeah, look, we talked briefly about Deebo.
Sorry, that was a comment.
No. We talked briefly about, and what is that? Is that St. Louis Sports Cards? That's a good call. We did talk about Deebo a little bit on our Fresh Sports Hour podcast on Monday. I thought the best place for him to go was Baltimore. I think putting him next to Hollywood Brown, putting him in a situation where he can be real multiple with Lamar Jackson in that system, with obviously an offensive coordinator who will build an offense around you, I think would be a great fit for him. But the Jets wouldn't be bad either. I think that'd be a good fit. He helps out any young quarterback, so I think that's a good fit. But back to your question, I think there's some situations where you have to grab a running back in the first round. You mentioned, Christian McCaffrey. But do I think it's worth it? No, because I think what that list just showed us is that you can get a guy in the second round, the third round, even in the fifth round, who, from a performance standpoint, is much better. You know what I would actually probably prefer to do? I would actually rather take a running back in the fourth round and take a running back in the fifth round, rather than take one running back in the first round. I would rather double up and have two quality running backs that are later in the rounds than have one first-round pick. Plus, when that first-round pick comes back around, you're going to have to pay him. Absolutely pay him.
For sure. I'm just thinking that once this draft gets started, we'll keep it up at 20. I'll take one. You take your opposite earphone out of each other, so that way we're kind of blocked out, and then we can still hear the boys talking and shit.
I like it.
We don't really need to hear her. I just wanted to make sure it works. Teddy, if you're at the top of this draft and it is defense heavy like we see currently, are you building your team with defensive linemen, or are you building your team with secondary? Because those are the top tier in this draft. And any of these guys with double picks in the first round can really go out and solidify their secondary. They can go out and solidify their line, or they can go do one of each. What is your thought and why?
So I guess it depends on how bad my team is and how many picks I have in like the top 40. So if my team is just flat out bad, then I'm starting with an edge rusher. I think pressure off the edge is, vitally important, especially for a bad team. They can still affect rushing the quarterback on a bad team where, there's only kind of so much that a corner or something like that can do.
I hope our date's right. She just took a picture of it.
I hope so.
It must still be stuck on 420 and she found it funny.
Right?
Stoner mom is in the building.
If I have if I have a situation where I'm sitting pretty like the Giants, honestly, I think I take two offensive linemen and I build from the trenches. I build out with those big bodies.
Ooh, offensive linemen, not defensive linemen. Huh?
Yeah, because here's the thing, right? Is your offensive linemen help more players at a young age than your defensive lineman helps. So, like, if you have a young defensive end, does he help a young corner as much as if you have a young left tackle or young right tackle, what that player can do for a young quarterback? I don't think he helps as much. And obviously, quarterback's the most important position on the field. So I would build in the trenches on my offensive line if I were in a situation like the Giants where I have two picks early. If I had one pick early and my team was god-awful, give me an edge rusher all day.
It's clear what my picks are. I'm a firm believer still, even in this offensive league that we find our NFL in. I'm still a huge believer that defense wins championship. And as you guys hear me yelling and screaming from my lungs, Gardner and Hamilton are them dudes. Their player comps are literally Richard Sherman and Ed Reed. You could switch Ed Reed's name with Cam Chancellor or Earl Thomas. Yeah. It doesn't really matter. But, like, their player comparison is the Legion of Boom. If you can get both of those guys on your squad with rookie contracts, it is a wrap. It's just a wrap. Yes, Junkwax Jesse is in the background. Jesse, TikTok still sees you. Hold on, let's tell him.
TikTok follows that man everywhere. I love it.
Jesse, TikTok still sees you in the background. They're happy.
I love it.
Give him a good laugh. Thanks, guys. But yeah, so I just think if you get Gardner and Hamilton, I think it's a wrap. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. I had to shave it all off. It was getting summertime. I went like 4 months, 5 months without a haircut. I cut it myself one day. It was just all out of whack. So I just was like, shave this bitch off.
And look, Brady fan 617, I agree with you that Daniel Jones ain't the guy. But here's the thing, man. We don't know. And they have to find out this year. Like, they have 1 year to find out.
And that's why I said I think that the Giants end up grabbing one of these quarterbacks. I think they have to. They have 2 picks up in the top 7. I mean, I know it's early. Maybe you trade back and let the Patriots come up and grab the wide receiver they want or the cornerback they want. I don't know what you do. But I definitely think the Giants have to grab a quarterback this year because if it's not Danny Dimes, who is it?
Okay, but coming into this draft, if Danny Dimes was coming into this draft, would he not be the number 1 rated quarterback on the board?
It's a valid point. He probably is.
So then aren't you doing a new quarterback a disservice by not addressing the existing issue and why Danny Dimes couldn't be successful by drafting just a quarterback to replace him instead of... Look, I mean,
if you're doing that, then you're not getting offensive linemen. I mean, you have offensive linemen. You just said how they have maybe the 3 best offensive linemen in the league.
No, they have the 3 best. There's 3 best offensive linemen in this draft. They have a great left tackle or a very good left tackle, and then they moved around a lot of players. You can get 2 guys that can solidify this.
It's almost game time. Sorry.
Yeah.
12-minute clock. 12-minute clock.
You can solidify their offensive line and give Danny Dimes an opportunity this year, and then you can live to fight another day. If he doesn't pan out, you're going to be at the top of the draft next year with a quarterback class that is significantly better than this one.
Star-studded. Next year, they're talking about it being like the 2020 class, which I think is going to be super tough because the 2020 class is the greatest quarterback class of all time. I really think so. When's that? Right now, 12 minutes.
Yep, 12 minutes
We're going to bring it to you live right here. We're going to give you our predictions. We're going to let you know what they're thinking about, what they're talking about. We're going to let you know everything going on. If you do not have ESPN, if you do not have a TV, if you do not have the internet, well, obviously you have some of those things if you're listening to us, huh? Jackass. If you want to watch the draft with 2 cool-ass dudes, don't go no further. We are here to bring you some inside information. I got Sheffy emailing me on the Twitter chats and stuff. We got you guys a bunch. We're going to rock and roll right through the draft. We're going to give you the whole first round, possibly the whole first round. Should be done by 10 o'clock, maybe 11, depending upon how long it goes. We'll probably be here till around 10, maybe a little longer. Maybe we push it to the limit. I got some University Bowman cards we're going to rip while the draft's going on, have some fun.
Oh, baby.
I got some potential first-round picks right here. You guys can kind of see some potential first-round picks, all autographs. So maybe we'll do some giveaways and stuff like that as these people get picked and drafted. Maybe we'll do some auctions. Who knows how this goes? Maybe I'll run out to Uncle Jesse and have him do a live auction while it's going on. You never know what could happen. Have a good one, guys. Nice seeing you.
In New Hampshire breaks, I can't believe you just said Drew Luck is going to be great. He's not going to be great. And what they need to do is they need to go trade a 5th-round pick for Baker Mayfield is what they need to do. They need to get out of this draft right now, and they need to make a trade for Baker Mayfield, which I do predict is going to happen. Baker Mayfield will get traded sometime during this draft.
Where's Baker Mayfield at right now? Still Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
He gets traded some point during this draft for Cleveland to move up, or what do you think?
I think he just goes for a 5th. Probably ends up in Seattle, 5th, 6th, something like that. Ends up in Seattle. Look,
if you're looking for ripping ships, go see Uncle Jesse.
Oh yeah. So they brought in who as the backup for Deshaun Watson? Jacoby Brissett, right? So like, there's just no place for Baker.
Correct. Sorry.
The whole league knows that there's no place for Baker there. So it's just about offloading that contract.
Where do you see Baker going?
He's got to go to Seattle. Like, I've been saying this since the get-go, that, like, if you're Seattle, he's the next guy up, at least while you wait, right? Like, what you want to do is you want to put a guy in place who can run the scheme that you had where you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And I think, like, he fits there, where he can go in and run that Russell Wilson system. Obviously not as well as Russell Wilson, but he has weapons. He's used to having some weapons, obviously. And he's a guy that is also pretty short like Russell. So, like, you're used to moving the pocket for your quarterback, developing a scheme around that. And so I think that you have to do that. I agree with Brady Fan 617 that a 5th-round pick is crazy. But, like, they know he has to go. That's the problem. It is like, if this were earlier on in the process, they could probably get maybe as high as a 2nd, but likely a 3rd. But now Like, they know he has to go, so there's no way, in my opinion, that people are going to pay that for him.
All right, so we're under the 10-minute mark. Bold prediction time. You've heard my bold predictions in the New England sector. My other bold prediction is Sam Howell is the first quarterback off the board. Teddy, hit me with your bold predictions.
So my bold prediction is that the Giants end up getting a third first-round pick. And with that, they address the safety position. So that would mean, if my predictions are correct, that they end up with an offensive lineman, a cornerback, and a safety all in the first round.
I like that. Anything else to add to it?
That's all I got for now. There's probably some more bold predictions coming once we see these first 3 or so picks.
All right, so the first pick is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Our little team analyst and needs analyst. The Jaguars invested 2 first-round picks in edge rushers in recent years, but Josh Allen is still in need of a top-flight running mate. Jacksonville is likely to go back to the well at the position in 2022 after posting 50 sacks total over the past 2 seasons, tied for second fewest in the league during that span. Teddy, do they do it again? They've already invested 2 first-round picks in edge rushers. Are they making a third first-round pick in an edge rusher?
Yeah, so I'm going to write down my my official prediction on my sheet.
That was the next part.
Yeah, I jumped the gun a little bit, but yeah, I think they go Trayvon Walker with the number 1
You're not
pick.
supposed to tell me.
I don't think you have a different pick, do you?
Jaguars, you just can't pass on the Hutch.
Wow.
You cannot pass on the Hutch.
Look, they're going to have to answer some questions if they do pass on him.
In the prediction land is on the board with Hutch. I'll put my second pick in too, since it's easy.
Trayvon Walker, easy money, and obviously the second pick is I'll go ahead and put it in because that's going to be Hutch. I think we're obviously in consensus on the first 2 picks, just in opposite directions.
Correct. And obviously there's a few sleepers I have. I mean, that's just my prediction. I mean, I'll put my bold prediction right next to it. Bold. Teddy, you should do this too, like a shot that you think somebody's going to jump up and grab just in case. Because, I mean, obviously those are the first 2 picks that everyone seems to think it is. But, like, what's your bold prediction on who could be one of those 2 picks that aren't them? You know, you could just use one guy for both.
Look, it stays the same as it was pre-combine. I think the sleeper pick, because nobody knows what they're doing with quarterbacks, is Malik Willis to Detroit. Like, we have no idea when it comes to quarterbacks, what we're going to get. Doesn't matter whether they're picked in the first round, the third round, or the 5th round. They miss too often, and there's no such thing as an overpay for a quarterback. Because if you get a guy in a second overall pick that is able to change your franchise, but he was projected to go into the 2nd or 3rd round, like, nobody's going to question that pick. If Russell Wilson, who was projected as like a third round pick, if he got picked number 1 overall, people would have said, well, that's silly. He was projected to go in the 3rd round, but then nobody would question that pick. It just wouldn't happen.
Hold on 1 second, Giants news. Best player available for the Giants at number 5 is what reports are saying from the GM.
Yep. And I think that's going to be
And
Evan
Giants are looking to trade out of the 7th overall pick. Looks like they're going to pick best available of 5 and looking to trade out of 7 right now. There are a lot of teams interested in 7. That's what reports are just in. Teddy, you know what else I just thought of?
What?
Me and you can hear each other without using
Without
these,
the
and then we
headphones.
can hear this clear as day.
That makes
and we
perfect
don't need
sense.
To cloud up everything.
That makes perfect sense.
What a genius.
I think I might keep one ear in just to make sure that the mic situation doesn't go poorly just for a little while. But I think best player available ends up, unless anything crazy goes down, it still ends up being Evan Neal.
At number 5?
Yeah, if nobody has seen the tape on this kid, please go check out the tape.
It all kind of depends on what happens in the first 3 picks, realistically, to tell who is where. Willis is not worth the second pick. Come on, guy.
He's not.
Teddy, I'm going to let you guys talk why Malik Willis goes to as a crazy prediction, strictly because of the Lions, even though you don't feel that he is a second pick overall, while I go get ready for the draft in the dab room.
So he isn't a second round pick. I mean, a second overall pick. I don't think he's worth it. But if you're the Lions, I mean, let's be serious. Like, you have needs everywhere. Your team is terrible. If you bring in a quarterback, you sell tickets. Quarterback is much prettier than a defensive end or edge rusher, however you want to put it. So bringing in a quarterback that you don't need, but that can run, has a damn good arm, and he's box office. Look, I don't think he's the pick. Like I said, I think it's going to be Aidan Hutchinson at number 2. But as a dark horse pick, I wouldn't rule it out. Like, we're talking about the Lions here. Like, we're not talking about a franchise who knows what they're doing. And I also agree, Emmanuel Mendez, that most people should wait for a quarterback next year, at least if you're thinking about drafting one in the first round. Look, you might want defense here in Detroit, and you guys might think that that's the right pick, but it doesn't mean your franchise does. It doesn't mean your franchise does. I get it. Look, there's lots of things that I want my franchise to do. Sometimes I think I can run it better than them, but they're going to make a decision that is obviously one that they think they have the smartest people in the room. Every team thinks they have the smartest people in the room, and so that's how they're going to base their pick. Like I said, I do think it's going to be Aidan Hutchinson. I want to make that clear that I do think it's going to be Aidan Hutchinson. But as a dark horse pick, I would not be surprised. If there was any team that was going to shock you a la Chicago Bears style, like, it would be Detroit, my dude. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't know how long you've been a fan of that team, but you know it. You know that if there was another team at the top of the draft that was willing to do something wild, it's likely to be Detroit, and it's likely to be picking somebody that nobody thought was going to get picked. So we'll see. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So we'll see. Like I said, I think there's a lot of defensive ends and defensive linemen at the top of the draft, so they could go many different directions and still get it right, and I think they will. But if they don't pick any defensive linemen, what else is on the board for them?
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. The NFL draft is here.
Oh,
wow, baby. Look at that. All of his manifestations are on his suit. Who is this?
Aidan Hutchinson?
Oh, yeah. That is dope. All right, guys, we are 1 minute away, 60 seconds away. Have a real football brain. Trust now. Defense.
Look, I can't tell you not to trust. As fans, we have to trust. But you might be going down with the sinking ship. You never know. But
Mac
you have
Jones
to have
is
faith.
not the real deal. Malik better than Aidan Hutchinson?
Wow. Okay, so in terms of Mac Jones not being the real deal, I get what you're saying, but you also...
Whoa, what's up, everybody?
But you also have to keep in mind that...
What it do, Flying Frenchie?
Wow, we're popping right now. Mac Jones is the real deal along Bill Belichick.
All right, let's turn this up. Everyone can listen with us.
Let's do this.
Point your mic up that way.
Matthew Stafford. That moment meant everything to me. And it's gratifying to think it inspired others.
Give you guys a second. Listen to the opening NFL draft.
A message to all the young players who dream that one day.
Give you a second. Let you listen to this.
There are a lot of people out here tonight who think you are the least likely candidate to be successful. They need to look into my heart. They need to look into your heart. They need to look into your heart. Everything we talk about. Fear, tradition, heart, passion, pride, discipline. That's what the game is about.
It's making me want to run through a brick wall right now.
You got the spotlight tonight. You have a national audience tonight. What more do you want?
Here we go!
Las Vegas. Tonight
Vegas, baby.
Dreams coming true. Families sharing pride and joy. The call of every name spreads love for our game.
Imagine the feeling of getting drafted, dude. Kyle Hamilton. I hope number one. I hope Kyle Hamilton ends up number one, but I got Kyle Hamilton falling somewhere around like 6 to 10. Hopefully not 10 to the Jets. We'll get back to the draft talk in 2 seconds. Vegas, baby. Of the sports card universe. This is Bert. This is T.
Yo.
We are live watching the NFL draft. We got all of our research done. We got our mock drafts done. We got our predictions done. We got everything done and ready to rock and roll this draft with you guys here on TikTok, you guys over here on Twitch, you guys up there in YouTube, over there on Instagram, up there on Facebook, over there on Sling. I don't know. We're everywhere you can be right now. If you would like to see the TV, hop on over to our Twitch. I don't want to get banned on TikTok for showing something I'm not supposed to. I don't know how it works entirely. So, here we are, guys. We are live here in the Fresh Pull Studio, 215 Newbury Street, Peabody, Massachusetts. We are ready to bring you all the news. Our first picks are one and the same. Both me and Teddy have Aidan Hutchinson and Walker going 1-2. Except we have different orders. Teddy has?
I got Walker going 1 and Hutchinson going 2.
And I got Hutchinson going 1, Walker going 2. The draft is really anybody's guess right now, guys. How do we get your Twitch? Fresh Pulls. Just search Fresh Pulls on Twitch. I don't know how to send over the link. I'm sorry. I'm not that tech savvy. I have a media team. I just look tech savvy right now because the media team set this up for me. But yeah, so the first 2 picks is really a crapshoot in this draft. This is one of the craziest NFL drafts in recent memories because usually there's a clear-cut one. We usually know who number 1 is weeks prior, days prior. We know.
Yeah.
This time we just don't know. It could be one of those 2 guys. It could be one of 5 guys. It could be one of 6 or 7 guys. Realistically, Hutchinson, Walker, Stingley, Gardner, Kyle Hamilton,
Equanu. There's so many.
Malik Willis, even though he doesn't deserve to be, could be up there. Like, it's absolutely crazy the amount of people that could be picked number 1 this year. Even though I think Aidan Hutchinson is the most unmatched as far as football intangibles. What's the word I'm looking for?
Intangibles is right.
Nailed it.
TJ said,
what is up,
South
Jesse?
Bend in the
Have Fresh
house.
Pulls.
So TJ, just so you know,
What up, South Bend?
about Kyle Hamilton, you missed a great rant that Bert went on about Kyle Hamilton and about Sauce Gardner. He thinks both of them are Legion, sort of comparisons, with Kyle Hamilton being basically, whether you want to, say Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, Ed Reed, like he fits the bill for just changing things in your secondary from a culture standpoint, a talent standpoint.
I am praying that Kyle Hamilton and Sauce Gardner somehow make it to the same team. I want the Legion of Boom all over again. I want to root for a team. I would really like to see the Jets, even though they're in the AFC East, but that's just an underdog team, real young team. I think if you could put those 2 on the Jets, it makes the Jets a serious contender within a couple years if Zach Wilson is as good as Zach Wilson seems to be able to be.
All right, so here's the thing, right? Because you keep saying the Jets at 10, but don't we got a team at 9 who's already proven that they can handle a safety like that, like an elite safety? Don't we have a team in the Seahawks that really is exactly what you're looking for, right? A dominant safety to come in who can change the culture of a team and who's dealt with those guys.
Seattle don't have enough picks though.
I get that they don't have enough picks to get Sauce Gardner as well, but isn't that the start right? Like, you can start with, like, there's some coaches that if they get that guy in their system, we talked about it with Mac Jones, right? Like, how every team in the league was dreading Mac Jones getting the opportunity to end up a Patriot because he fit there in a way that he didn't fit with anybody else because of the coach.
And that's one of the reasons why I really think the Patriots end up trading up and grabbing that kid from Alabama, is because that's another Mac Jones type story. No one really started talking about him until the week prior to the draft, and Bill's just out there chilling, smoking Cohibos while everybody's at the combine and everything else, because Bill knows Alabama more than anyone. Mac Jones already knows this kid. He has to go get this wide receiver for Mac. There's no better pick for the Patriots in the first round than this wide receiver from Alabama.
Look, even though I might agree with you, you're going to have to grab some smelling salts, because if Bill Belichick trades up in the first round, yeah, I'm going to pass out.
Yeah, it would be very, very unlikely for Bill Belichick. Uh-oh, the commissioner is here. He's just announcing at the draft, and they're on the clock. Let's see what he has to say, though, real quick. I lost the controller already. Let's see what the bum has to say. Quick timeout for me and T. He's getting booed.
Okay.
Boo.
Welcome to the 22 NFL Draft.
Boo the man. Is that Derek Carr looking all handsome and
As you
shit?
can see, I brought some friends here with me that you might recognize.
Woo!
Raiders Hall of Famer and Super Bowl MVP.
Yo, if Responsible Rob's watching, this is how slow you talk.
And current Raiders Pro Bowlers Derek Carr and Darren Waller.
All right, forget this dude. We're way better to listen to than that guy. Except for, Derek Carr is on the stage, so if there's any females on board that want to go check him out, I don't blame you.
Right, and Darren Waller is a baller.
All right, guys, so we have the first round of this draft absolutely being bonkers, right? It could be, how many trades do you got projected? Let's put the trades of the first round at 4.5. Do you have over trades or under trades at 4.5 trades in the first round? Teddy, TikTok, what are your thoughts, TikTok? Start counting, Jesse, when they come in.
So I'm going to take the under. I actually think a lot of teams stay
4.5
pat.
trades in the first round. Over or under, TikTok? Go ahead, T. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, I'm going to say the under. I think a lot of teams stay packed. I think what you got to look at is the teams with multiple picks. So I would look at, obviously, the Giants, who they said are looking to trade back from that 7th pick. And then I would look at, maybe, I don't know, the Eagles potentially, or the Saints. I think any of those teams could be available to trade, but
Yo, TikTok, make sure you tune in with us throughout this whole thing. I have a bunch of autographed cards from all college jersey stuff, but a lot of the players that are going to be drafted in the first round, Aidan Hutchinson, Malik Willis,
Desmond Ritter,
Matt Corral, Tyler Allen, blah, 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 blah. I got a whole bunch of autographs of the first rounders. I'm going to be doing giveaways. I also got a box of Bowman U University, super cool stuff that's coming out today, stuff that's coming out, players that are coming out today, players that are coming out next year, et cetera, et cetera. So I got some cool things to give away and kick it. So if you guys want to watch the NFL draft, here's some cool insight from me and T. Make sure you stay tuned and keep chilling with us all night. We're going to be kicking and rocking.
yeah, this is what we do every
Derek
year.
Carr's about to put the trade on the board. He's about to get trade. He's about to put the draft on the board soon. Can't hear you, Derek. Derek Carr, you can't even hear him. All right, so what do we got? Over or under 4.5? What was the final prediction? You got under. We got a bunch of unders from
Yep.
over there.
Yeah, TJ's got under.
I think it's well over.
Converse got
I think it's
under.
like 6+ trades in the first round, realistically. Reason being is I think there's a lot of teams that want to make some moves. I think there's teams that just want to move up a few picks. I think there's teams that are going to drop back a few picks. And as you know, T, playing Madden and stuff like that, once you start sliding down that draft board, it gets easier and easier to keep sliding some picks. So I'm going to go over 4.5 trades in the first round of this NFL draft. I really think the first one comes with the Giants at 7. It's already being talked about and being rumored. They're ready to trade that. So we'll see. 7+ we got from somebody. I agree. I think it's 6+ for sure. But we're going to find out. The first one looks like it's going to be the Giants. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something that happens in the first 4 picks. If there's a trade within the first 4 or 5 picks, you're going to see a shit ton of trades throughout this entire first round.
Yeah, I would be shocked if that happened. I think what you see is
Jaguars are on the clock with 10 minutes. Jaguars are on the clock now with 9 minutes and go. 9 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yeah, I think what you see happen is I think you see a lot of teams stay packed for their wide receiver choices, and I think you see a lot of movement potentially for quarterbacks as you get later in the first round. Outside of that, I'm not sure that there's a whole lot of movement. It's tough. There's a lot of wide receivers kind of bunched in the middle, and as we talked about a little bit off air, the wide receiver market is pretty wild with some of these wide receivers getting paid massive money. I think a way to kind of skirt around that is if you have a deep wide receiver draft, that seems like it's full of ready to step in talent, that you go draft those guys. As opposed to spending $20 million a year on.
I think mainly because of that and what's going on, you'll see more wide receivers drafted than ever before in the next coming years. Just because a lot of these guys are going to be like Kansas City and won't be able to afford a Patrick Mahomes and a Tyreek Hill. Like, there's no way that Cincinnati's going to be able to afford Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and others once their rookie contracts are up. That's why you're going to see a lot more picks happening.
Yeah, and I just think
my man Mel got Aidan Hutchinson with number 1, just like his boy Bert. Me and Mel are one in a kind. We got the same type of flow going usually. I know I got a pretty slick haircut, but me and Mel usually got the same type of flow going.
Look, and Aidan Hutchinson was my number 1 pick all the way through up until yesterday. Like, he should be the number 1 pick. When you put things on tape the way he's put them on tape, and when you look just the way he looks, right, 6'7".
The main reason I got him going number 1 is he has been the projected number 1 pick of this draft class for 4 years.
Yeah.
Since he got to college, maybe even his senior year of high school, he was projected first overall pick for the last 3 years, 4 years, however long it's been. So there's no way that he's only gotten worse in the last 3-4 years. So I am assuming that he has to maintain, like, Jaguars have already shown us that they like to go get that guy early. This guy has proven for the last 3 years why they've been talking about him for the number 1 overall pick. That's why he goes number 1.
But sometimes teams just like to get pretty.
Yes. Where does Baker Mayfield end up beginning of this season?
The Seahawks.
The Seattle Seahawks is Teddy's guess. I don't really have a guess. I'm not sure about Baker Mayfield. I'm very confused. First quarterback off the board for me is one of my bold predictions is Sam Howell. I think he's the best quarterback in this draft. I know it sounds crazy. You can at me all you want. That's why it's called a bold prediction. Teddy got Malik Willis coming off the board number 1, which is probably what is deserved. I think Kenny Pickett might be the better overall quarterback, but with the most upside, I really think it might be Sam Howell. I think Sam Howell's the true. I think he's going to be the number 1 quarterback out of this draft in the next 2-3 years.
Yeah, and for anybody who's watching on Twitch right now, when you see what Trayvon Walker's putting on tape right now on the screen, I think this is why I said sometimes teams like to get pretty, and although Hutchinson was phenomenal, like, he ain't jumping back into coverage. He doesn't have the natural speed and athleticism that this kid had. Like I said, their player comp was Eric Armstead. My player comp was Jadeveon Clowney. So, like, when you talk about a guy who we just watched him run 40 yards down the field to make a tackle. When you see some of the stuff that he's doing, Aidan Hutchinson is clearly the safer pick, but Trayvon Walker has the higher upside. So, like I said, Aidan Hutchinson was my pick until yesterday.
5.5 minutes on the board. 5.5 minutes left for the Jaguars. 5.5 minutes.
I just think that teams like to get pretty, and when you have 2 guys at the top that are dominant, actually, in my vision, you have three defensive linemen that are elite. I think you take the look at the upside and you try to project out. Go ahead.
So, Teddy, before the first pick is in, we're at the 5-minute mark of the first pick. Before the first pick is in, who is your player to watch become Sam Darnold or Aaron Rodgers?
In terms of watching him slide?
Yes. You know the top of the board. We've seen the top of the board. We've looked at the top of the board. We have our picks. We have our thoughts. Who slides the furthest?
So, a moment ago, I said there were 3 elite defensive linemen. Kayvon Thibodeau, I believe, should go in the first 4 picks. If he does not, you
The
might
pick
watch
is
him
in.
slide.
The pick is in, ladies and gentlemen. Jaguars pick is in. The commissioner is getting the card. He's looking at it. He's smelling it. What's up, Domph? How we doing, big dog? He is getting ready for it. I'm calling Chase Winovich to the Steelers. Didn't he just get traded to, where'd he go? He's not in New England no more. Where did he go? They love it, will tell me.
So please expect some silence during the picks. We obviously want to listen to the picks and not just see it on the screen. So there might be a little bit of us not talking when the pick actually gets announced.
That's right. I think this is an easy one. I think it has to be Aidan Hutchinson. Again, Teddy has, what's his name, Walker. What's his first name?
Yeah, Trayvon Walker.
So we got a Trayvon Walker pick, and we got an Aidan Hutchinson pick. My bold prediction is Kyle Hamilton. I think Jaguars could surprise you and grab the safety of a century. Teddy thinks they could. There's no surprise in the first pick. It's either Hutchinson or Walker. I think it could surprise you and pick Hamilton. We shall see. The commissioner is getting ready to walk to the stage.
Yeah, just keep in mind, we know nothing about this draft. Nobody does. All the experts are saying this is absolutely one of the craziest drafts.
We got the Lions on the deck, and then Texans, and then Jets. We have our first two picks in. Our third pick is going to be the Texans. The Texans are a tricky one.
Hold on. Yeah, I got one on my side. They love it 23. He says he's got Walker here. I love it. Oh,
I got one on my side. Trayvon Walker is not worth the first pick. I agree. Trayvon Walker is not worth the first pick, only because of Aidan Hutchinson. Trayvon Walker has the intangibles to be a first overall pick, but just not in this draft. I don't even know if Walker could is the one that I see that could slip the furthest.
all right. Time to hear it.
Just so you know. We'll see if he goes number one and I kick him in the butt. Pick is here.
2022 NFL Draft. The Jacksonville Jaguars select Trayvon Walker.
Ooh! I am 0 for 1 already. Trayvon Walker with the first overall pick.
Let's go, baby.
Trayvon Walker.
For anybody who is not on Twitch right now, make sure you're on your TV. Make sure you're
That's
tuning in,
tough.
because when they show this kid's tape, it is disgusting. Disgusting.
Lions are on the board with 7 minutes left. So we have Trayvon Walker going number one.
Yeah, and like I said, my player comp, I don't know who they gave or who they are going to give as their player comp, but mine was Jadeveon Clowney, guys. Like, when you see how explosive this kid is, Bert mentioned intangibles. Just watch the tape that this kid puts out, and he's an absolute physical specimen.
He's fast as hell for 6'5", 272.
It's beautiful.
The nice thing about this kid is he can play anywhere. He can play the inside like they're showing right now. He can play the outside like they're about to show. He can drop back in coverage like they're about to show. Like, the kid can do it all. He can cover the ground like they're showing right now, get into the outside, really sailing that outside. It helps the Jaguars out tremendously. I just don't think he's as strong of a running mate as... I just don't think he's as strong as a running mate as Josh Allen needs. I think Aidan Hutchinson would have been a better fit. Lions pick is in quick, which means Teddy's going to be 2-2. I'm going to be 1-1 because I obviously get to switch my pick now to Hutch. Now that Hutch didn't go number one, Hutch goes number 2. Texans pick is in. Lions pick is in. Texans are on deck. What is the biggest need for the Texans? For the team with just about everything, Houston can absolutely afford to take the best player available. Ideally, the Texans draft haul will help remake Lovie Smith's defense and give Davis Mills something that resembles adequate support.
Okay, so just real quick, for the number one pick, they gave as a player comp Myles Garrett. I think that's also a good pick for a player comp. I think obviously number 2 here, Hutchinson. If they don't pick Hutchinson, that is absolutely silly, and everybody needs to get fired.
Listen, there's
'cause that brain trust is done.
159 of you in chat. I am writing down a number. Everyone guess a number. When Aidan Hutchinson gets drafted right here, I will give away this autographed Aidan Hutchinson to one of you guys on TikTok. So everyone guess a number, 1 to 160. Jesse, keep an eye on a number for me. Hold on, I'm going to come tell you.
And in terms of who the Texans are going to pick, I think the Texans are going to pick, look, everybody thinks they should pick best available. I think there's one massive glaring need for them.
Stop throwing some numbers in. Only one guess per person. 1 guess per person. 1 to 150. 1 to 150. Pick a number 1 to 150 before this Lions pick is in, because everybody in the whole world is assuming it's Aidan Hutchinson. I have an autographed Aidan Hutchinson card right here. I wrote down a number next to it.
Yeah, so I do think the Texans
I'll give you
need to
guys
focus
another
on
hint
corner.
since nobody has guessed it right now. It is in the ballpark of 50 to 100. In between 50 and 100, pick a number. Everyone gets to guess again because nobody's right. Everyone gets you 1 guess in and 1 guess only. 150 to 100. Hurry up and guess. Hurry up and guess. 50 to 100. Get your guesses in. The pick is coming.
In the 2022 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Aidan Hutchinson.
Aidan Hutchinson with the pick. Closest one without going over was Bad Luck Burl. Bad Luck Burl with 76. Price is Right rules. Don't go over. I wrote down 77. Bad luck Burl. Bad Luck Burl. Make sure you.
I want to review the tapes. I think ex-Underman's Con first had 76.
Uh-oh, we got to review the tapes. We might have had somebody with a 77. I didn't see it.
No, 76 first.
Oh, we did have a 76 first. Ex-Con first X. Ex-Con first X. I'm sorry, Bad Luck Burl. Someone gets 76 prior to you. I just got confirmation from my moderator. He came running in here and said, nope, Ex-Con first X said 76 first. I reviewed up. Ex-Con first X, you are the lucky winner of this Aidan Hutchinson autograph. That is you. Send us a DM on TikTok with your address, and this will be shipped out to you tomorrow. Jesse, come grab this card and put his sticker on it with his name. Bad Luck Burl. Bad Luck Burl. Don't worry, there's a consolation prize for being so damn close. Jesse? Jesse's coming. Bad Luck Burl. Don't go anywhere. You DM me with your address as well. You are going to get the first pack of this Bowman University. That's ex-Con Fort. This is going to be Bad Luck Pearl. Come back for this in a second. All right, let's see what you got. I'm going to stand over here. Teddy, excuse me for a second. All right, let's see what we can get out of here for you, my man. Here you go, Bad Luck Pearl. Sorry you didn't win the Aidan Hutchinson. Let's see if we can get you something cool. We got a Khalil Shakir. First Bowman, Chris Rodriguez. Malik Cunningham, Big Kahuna. Raheem Jarrett. Oh, I didn't show any of those on camera, huh? Sorry, the camera's up here. So. You are a winner too, my friend. Thank you for playing along.
There we go.
Third pick is not in yet. There's 5 minutes left with the Houston pick. Teddy,
right.
write your guess down. I'm going to write my guess down. Jesse, come grab Bad Luck Pearl's pack, please.
All right, so I already have my pick in.
You already have your pick written down?
Yep, I'm 2 for 2 right now, so I'm looking to go 3 for 3. Let's keep this perfect in this wild draft.
All right, I'm not going to talk about my pick yet. We'll talk about our pick once the pick is in. The pick is in!
All right.
The pick is in. We don't have to give our picks yet, but what does Houston need the most out of this draft, do you see?
So I personally think they need a cornerback.
Bad Luck Burrow.
And so I have a cornerback getting picked because I think that's their area of need, and it isn't who you think. You want it now?
Sure.
All right, I got Derek Stingley Jr. from LSU getting picked here.
That's funny. I also got a cornerback, but it is who you think. I got the Sauce. I got Sauce Gardner going here, 3 to Houston, who is in tremendous need of some big defensive help. We are in consensus again. It is going to be a cornerback. There are 3 cornerbacks that could really be choosing here, and none of them are really wrong. I just think that Sauce fits the intangibles for a cornerback that just you don't see often, and I don't think you can miss out on a cornerback that size, that speed. Never let up a touchdown in 3 seasons of football.
Wild.
He did not let me repeat that again for the people sitting in the back. My man played 3 seasons at cornerback and did not allow 1 receiving touchdown against him.
That's absolutely
not 1.
sick.
That's why he can't fall any lower than 3. If I didn't think those two were going to go linemen, I would have picked Sauce up earlier. He's that good. He's that man. Sauce Gardner with the number 3 overall pick to the Houston mother effing Texans.
Yeah, so I do think he is that good. The thing is, Stingley put some tape on during his freshman season at LSU.
Jesse, can you bring me a Red Bull? It's underneath it's in the vending machine in the door, though. You don't have to pay for it. There's just some sitting in the vending machine fridge.
So Stingley, the freshman season I saw him have at LSU was unlike anything I had ever seen. He played against the best competition playing at LSU. So I think this high of a pick, you go with the guy who's faced the best wide receivers, year in and year out. Obviously, they repeatedly play Alabama. Alabama's been stockpiled with NFL-style receivers. So I think that's the way you go.
I definitely like that pick. He's obviously played the better talent. He's obviously played the better pro wide receivers, essentially, that are going to be drafted compared to Cincinnati and Sauce Gardner. But the fact of the matter is, my man never let up a touchdown. It doesn't matter if you're going up against me playing wide receiver. Somebody somewhere in 3 seasons should get a touchdown on you, and it just hasn't happened. And that's why he's part of my Legion of Boom. I hope Texans start it off, which means they slide up and take the Giants' 7th pick. If this is Sauce, they take the 7th pick and go get Kyle Hamilton.
I hope
the pick
you're
is
right.
in. The commissioner is speaking.
2022 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Derek Stingley Jr. Defensive
Teddy is 3-0.
We streaking, baby.
Teddy is 3-0.
We streaking, baby.
3-0 for Teddy.
We streaking, baby. Oh, they're talking about him as a high school superstar, and they're going to talk about the freshman year that he had. Like I said, it was some of the best
That doesn't look like Stingley.
I had ever seen.
Who is that guy? Is anybody else watching? That was not Derek Stingley on TV right there. There he is.
Watch the tape this kid put on. It is incredible.
6 feet, though. You want him to be an inch or two taller.
You do, but the way he sticks to some receivers, it is disgusting. Look at the tape that he put on. It's absolutely beautiful. He just sticks to you. If you want to talk about a guy you cannot get separation from against the best receivers, we are talking about elite receivers that he's playing every day, and look, they cannot get a foot of separation. It is disgusting. There's nothing you can do. His technique is beautiful.
That was passing the fence.
Is it in college, though? It's gorgeous. He can play anywhere on the field. He'll follow your best receiver. It's just, look at that. They've showed 4 plays. They haven't showed a foot of separation.
He reminds me a lot of Darrell Revis, just a little bit smaller.
Yeah, agreed. Look at the jump on the ball.
Explosiveness,
Yeah,
the quickness,
exactly.
The hand-on combat.
Yeah, his intelligence, the way he uses his hands. The question, like you said, that was pass interference. The question is downfield. He does get a little handsy sometimes. So we'll see what happens there in the pros, because obviously you don't get away with that, in some of the same ways you do in college. But in terms of just sticking to somebody like glue, I have never seen freshman tape the way he put on freshman tape. So that's, I got to go with him.
The Jets are up, 5 minutes left on the clock. Let's talk a bit about the Jets. If they're going to take the step out of the AFC cellar, the Jets need more juice off the edge at the receiver position. There's a little Hinder on Thunder in there. Juice off the end. That means an edge rusher. I want them to go get juice. I don't think they do either. Well, they technically do either. I think this one goes to Tibbs. I think Thibodeau is a strong defensive edge rusher. I think the Jets tried to outsmart themselves. I think it's an easy pick taking juice. I think they contemplated too long, and I think they end up going with Thibodeau.
Yeah, I got the same pick. And it's smart that you chose that pick, because your boy is streaking 3 for 3 right now. And yeah, you got it spot on. I actually, coming into the draft, I had him rated as in my book, as the most naturally talented guy.
He's certainly gifted as all hell. He just didn't, the combine didn't really break out for him. He didn't come out and stomp out competition, which people were hoping for. He still had a hell of a combine. Don't get me wrong, folks. He still had a fantastic grade, 6.72, 8's perfect, highest was 6.8. So he was right there as far as combine, but how many things did he like jump off the board at? He was just solid at everything, and that's why I think he ends up being a really good pick here for the Jets and the 4 spot. The other guy to keep an eye out for is obviously Juice. If the Jets have been listening to this podcast, they know that it's very likely that they could get Juice here, trade up and grab 7 from the Giants, and grab Hamilton at 7, and their defense is set for the next 5 years plus. So if the Jets were smart, they'd listen to me, they'd grab Juice, and then they'd trade up to 7. 2 picks later and grab him. Sauce. I keep saying Juice. Sauce, Juice, same shit, different flavor.
Yeah, for me, I just think like when the only question you have about Thibodeau is his motor. Everything else looked beautiful. Like the way he transitions from speed to power and back and forth, and the way he moves his hips, and if he gets anything close to a step on an offensive lineman, it's over. Like
160 of you guys watching, who do you think the Jets take? Their pick is in. We're still watching a commercial. Who do you think the Jets take? Who do you think the Jets take? We got our picks. We both got Tib. Somebody give me a different pick besides Tib. Let's see if anybody can be right. Let's go, guys. Tell me who you guys are thinking right now in the TikTok chat. I want to see it. I'm curious to see what everyone else thinks. Me and Teddy usually don't have the same opinion a lot when it comes to draft day. That's why he's 3-0 right now, and I'm 1-2. But I'm about to be 2-4. We got Sauce. We got one vote for
You're right.
Sauce.
You're like, that's who they should
That's
pick.
who they should pick, 1,000%. But I think the Jets Jets are so high up on this board right now, I feel like they always end up making the wrong pick. I don't think they can necessarily make a wrong pick here. That's the nice thing about having such a open board this year, is there's so many talented players that aren't superstars yet that are easy picks right now.
Another one for Sauce. I like it.
So I don't think there's many wrong picks.
Yeah, it's just the question of, like, in the last 20 years, like, how many defensive linemen have the Jets drafted in the first round and high in the first round, right? I feel like the whole Rex Ryan experiment was full of that.
Last 5 seasons, 22-59. Only team to other do that, the other team that calls himself New York. Jets and Giants are 22-59 over the last 5 seasons, worse than the NFL.
Well, I think it's good that they both have 2 picks in the top 10. Right?
Yeah. The Giants are trying to blow it like the Jets will.
Yeah.
They look happy in the Jets war room.
I would be happy if I was getting
They look very
Thibodeau.
happy in the Jets war room. Lots of clapping, lots of handshaking. They seem to be very ecstatic with their pick. They're just waiting for the commissioner to announce it to see how much the world hates it.
Yeah, I think there's one direction they can go that will keep everybody happy, and that's Thibodeau. I think Sauce makes more sense to me for that team, but I would understand why they need to address that defensive line. So I think that's why we both, the consensus is amongst us that they go Thibodeau. But Sauce would be a great pick. I mean, I don't think any of you guys are wrong. I think you guys are thinking with the same mind that we are. It's just that our job is to pick sort of what they're most likely to pick, not who we think they should, right? But we'll find out.
Most of these guys' picks don't last through training.
You
Yeah,
ain't
for
wrong.
sure. In the first round, there's a lot more that last, obviously. But it's obviously tough. And I mean, there's so many things that go wrong in football that you can just go from a top tier pick to not playing. The pick is in.
With the 4th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Sauce Gardner.
Yeah!
Hey, y'all were right.
Sauce! That's unfortunate. Look at this.
Oh, you crossed out Sauce.
I had Sauce written out first, and I was like, it's the Jets. I don't think they do it. I had him written down. Sauce. 1 and 3 goes Bert because I didn't take my pick. Good pick. Great pick. I hope this means they try to move up and grab number 7th pick and take the Giants spot at 7.
Well, I think now we need to hear more of these picks from the people because they got that one right.
I know, right? Guys, are Rodgers, McCary, and Smoke Monday. What? My guys. Oh. I was like, huh?
All right, so the Giants are going to be on the board. This is a big question for
Watch
them
this
now.
kid's highlights. He's just so good.
That's gorgeous. gorgeous tape.
He's so good. 5 minutes left on the Giants pick. Giants' new GM Joe Schuin has a great opportunity to shore up the Giants' vulnerability in the trenches. With 2 first-round picks and filling a gaping void at tight end is a must too. So the Giants have a big gap in tight end. Obviously, we know that. They have a bunch of holes that need to be filled. I think Danny Dimes is a big hole they need to fill. I obviously don't think they do that here at number 5. There's no real linebacker for them to take. I have my pick. I hope it's right. I hope it's wrong as well. But I do have my pick that I think fits the needs of the Giants really well. They have many needs. Obviously, you could pick anybody right now that you can. Obviously, that they need so many picks, so you could pick anybody. There's many right picks right now, but I don't know what the right pick could be for them. Obviously, it's probably a cornerback because there's some really good corners up, but what do you think?
Yeah, so here's the thing. I think there is a right pick for them, and I'm just hoping that they don't screw it up. A moment ago, I did say that Thibodeau was the right pick at 4 because he's the best player in the draft overall. But if you remember from the pre-draft show, I said that there was a player that was likely to fall if he did not go within the top 4. And I said he was going to slide far, and that was Thibodeau.
And now we're outside the top 4.
Yeah, and my worry is that the Giants are going to go get Thibodeau when the right pick is actually Evan Neal. And if we do have any Giants fans on here, or just sort of fans in general that don't have allegiance to a specific team, I think they all agree that Evan Neal is the right pick here. He is, from a physical standpoint, as great of a prospect as you've ever seen. I think he's, 6'7", 340 pounds with absolutely massive, upside and potential, but he's already ready to step in and be an all-pro early in his career. It's wild. Was I right about the measurements? He's about 6'7", 340.
Yep.
And he doesn't move like that. And the way that he keeps these guys off, it's effortless. So I think that is the right pick, hands down. The only problem is when Thibodeau doesn't get picked at number 4, then you have something to think about as the Jets.
I got the Giants picking up Kyle Hamilton. I think they could use the Giants' safety help shore up their young cornerback. Excuse me if you guys heard that burp.
Uh-oh.
Somebody tell Bert I'm locked out. Tell him he should have brought his keys to work. He's been 5 days without keys, so I think we should probably leave him there for at least another 10 minutes. Right, guys?
No, but
how cold do you think he can get out there?
He's got the sad face on. Here's the problem, Jesse, is that the pick is in.
Oh, sorry, Jesse.
So you may have to...
The pick is in, Jesse. You have to wait until the pick is not in anymore.
Can you hold off for about a minute 15?
You got at least a minute 15 to hold on, Jesse. The pick is in. I got Kyle Hamilton. Jesse has Evan Neal.
Teddy has Evan Neal.
What'd I say?
Jesse.
Oh.
That's all right, though.
That's close. Teddy, Jesse.
Look, I know
Jesse,
it's cold
turn
out
the
there,
heater
Jesse.
on.
But we do this for the people.
Press the button, Jesse.
We can't step away while the pick is
Jesse's
in.
outside. Look at him freezing right now, shivering, touching his nipples or something.
You got about 35 to 40 seconds left. Maybe less. Maybe less. I believe in you, Jesse. I believe in you, Jesse.
Vest activated.
I love it.
All right, guys. Giants pick is in. Let's see. Commissioner walking to the table.
Do the Giants screw this up, or do they go get Evan Neal?
Giants always screw it up. In case anybody hasn't seen the restroom saga, please go check out our YouTube page. Jeff got locked in the restroom this past week, and it was absolutely hysterical. For all of you that have not seen it yet, make sure you go check it out. It is absolutely hysterical. I'm sorry. Roger Goodell is taking his sweet time, Jesse. My bad.
Yeah, Jesse, my time of a minute 15 seconds was a little off. But I see the light on your vest. I hope it's working for you. And if Goodell would speed himself up, we'll get to you really quickly. Looks like we're going to him right now.
I think the pick is in. Well, we know the pick is in. I think the pick is coming. The pick is coming, guys. Let's see what we got.
Name the Giants selection at number 5 in this year's draft. Here's the commission.
For the New York Giants pick,
I'm joined by Sam Prince, a lifelong Giants fan and Make-A-Wish kid.
Let's go, Sam.
Great moment.
Sam is post-heart transplant and feeling stronger than ever, as you can see.
Yeah, Sammy, tell him. Tell him how good Sam's feeling.
Tonight, his wish to announce the Giants' first pick comes true. We hope this wish will be a turning point for Sam as he looks forward to being a sports broadcaster in the future.
Yeah, there we go. The next Tony Romo.
Exactly.
Okay, Sam, it's time to get your wish true, baby.
Thank you, Mr. Goodell. With the 5th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the New York Football Giants select Kayvon Thibodeau, defensive.
Thibodeau! Kayvon Thibodeau is the pick. I got you. I'm coming to get you, Jesse.
Yeah, so I got that wrong, obviously. But this is what we talked about, right? This is what we talked about. This was the worry. It's a good pick. Like I said, most talented kid in the draft, just in terms of flat-out talent, and just a natural, like, absolute freak athletically. Just nobody that size should be able to move like that. But with that, you pass out on Evan Neal, which I think is a once-in-a-generation lineman. And in terms of offensive linemen, I just don't think you can afford to pass on a once-in-a-lifetime or once-in-a-generation lineman. But, like, watch this kid step. Like, first of all, they're talking about quick first step right now. Freakish. Absolutely freakish. Speed off the edge is the next thing they mention. It's otherworldly. He doesn't look like a rusher. He doesn't look like an edge rusher. And then when you see his power, his frame doesn't look like he should be as powerful as he is, but damn it, he is. And, you know, you've seen him play some linebacker. You've seen him sort of line up everywhere. So, like I said going in, that this kid is an absolute freak. I just think that you got to shore up the offensive line here. But look, you can't hate on the pick. It was a great pick.
I love this pick because this kid is next level when it comes to overall athletic ability. He's not the size of your typical defensive lineman as far as a fat guy or anything. I think he transitions well into one of the best middle linebackers in the league because of his size and length and speed. I don't think he plays defensive line long in the NFL. I think they find out very quickly that he is a better linebacker, and that's where he ends up playing in the NFL. His attitude, his charisma, everything the Giants need is with this kid. This kid is great. Like, he is so amped up to be one of the top 5 picks. He is going to bring it to every single day. You know what I mean? Every single day he's going to bring it for the Giants. And the Giants needed that on the defensive side of the ball. The Giants are struggling at all aspects of football, and they really needed that pick.
So here's the thing, and if Responsible Rob is on here, this was something that he really, as a Giants fan, said they needed to address. And they did say that they were going to pick the best available player, right? And that at 5, and they were looking to hopefully trade out of 7. They picked the best available player in Thibodeau, but I don't know if they can now afford to trade out of 7 with not getting an offensive lineman.
With 3.5 minutes left on the board in the 6th pick in the Panthers, they are having conversations whether it's going to be Malik Willis as the first quarterback off the board. Is it, Teddy, or is it not?
I don't think so. I think now that Evan Neal didn't get picked at 5 to the Giants, the Panthers have to pick him up at 6. I think it's an easy pick for them, and they can't get it wrong, and it looks like you agree.
That's unfortunately my pick, too. Again, we have the same picks, which hurts me. So I'm going to change my pick since Teddy has the lead, and I can do that since I'm the boss. I'm going to cross out Evan Neal just because I got to jump back on. Teddy's 3-2. I'm 1-4. I'm going to take the Panthers. Evan Neal's such an easy pick.
It should be, right? I just think it would make sense. And yeah, Alan, you have to love that defensive players are going so high and that there's so many great ones. I think, just like you said, very talented. He'll be big time. And you said it was a nice pick. This was a once-in-a-lifetime early draft in terms of defensive linemen. And it's hard to say they did the wrong thing. I personally think they should have gotten Evan Neal.
Put a dude flying high.
It's tough. It's really tough. You can't pass up this type of defense. You don't get it a whole lot.
First pick I had Hutchinson, and it was really Walker. Second, so the pick so far has been Walker, Hutchinson, Stingley, Sauce, and Tibbs. I had Hutch, Walker, Sauce, Tibbs, Hamilton.
Yeah, I got the last two wrong. I had Thibodeau and Evan Neal, and they went Sauce and Thibodeau. So I'm sitting at 3 and 2. And for come first? The Giants need a QB. I agree. The problem is you can't pick a QB at 5 or 7 in this draft. And can you really bring in a QB when you haven't addressed some of your issues? When is the last time the Giants have had a reliable number 1 wide receiver? When is the last time that you could look at that that offensive line and say they're ready to truly impact protecting a young quarterback? That's why I thought that they should do something that was unheard of, which is go offensive line in a beautiful offensive line draft. That they should have gone that route at 5 and 7 to match up with Andrew Thomas. So yes, they do need a quarterback, I think. I just don't think this is the draft where you address that with a top 10 pick.
I still don't know who I'm going to go with. I think I might just stick with
Darius Slayton.
I think I'm just going to end up sticking with Evan Neal.
You're right. For sure it's a need. For sure it's a need. But you know what? Would you hate Malik Willis if he dropped to the second round?
For the Panthers, by the way, guys. The pick is in for the Panthers.
And you're sticking to Evan Neal?
I'm sticking with Evan Neal.
I think smart route.
There's so many choices that you could choose right now for the pick. I just think that if Carolina's ever going to rebuild and they're going to help Christian McCaffrey and they're going to keep Christian McCaffrey long term, they need a phenomenal tackle, and that's what you get out of Evan Neal. You get a guy that's just possibly like a Tristan Wirfs, so a once-in-a-generation type tackle.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, you're right, Converse. It's not the year to take one, at least not in the first round. I think this pick it should be simple, really, because there are 5 players that we sort of highlighted in this draft that were otherworldly, elite, next generation type players that could go top 5. And we said there were 6 or so, right? 6, maybe 7. But there were 5 that we said kind of had to go top 5. And 4 of those have been picked. The one left is Evan Neal.
Yeah, I 100% agree. The surprise to me that so far is Hamilton is still on the board. I really thought someone would gamble with a once-in-a-generation type safety.
Yeah, I don't think there's necessarily a huge surprise to me. I thought Sauce was going to slide a little bit, somewhere between 6 and 10. And I thought after Thibodeau didn't go number 4, pre-draft I said that he was on slide alert because if he didn't go number 4, that it could get rough for him because I didn't think he was a need for the Panthers. I thought the Giants should go offensive lineman and maybe, offensive line corner or offensive line. Falcons need everything, but not necessarily an edge rusher right now. Same with the Seahawks. So I could have seen him sliding out of the top 10 and kind of free-falling, but he went with the next pick, which was wild.
I really think the Panthers could use a few of these guys right now. What's his name still on the board, which is surprising, obviously. He's obviously on slider alert. Jermaine Johnson. The pick is here.
All right, so the pick is in, and this should be the start of our offensive lineman run.
The Carolina Panthers select Equanu.
Right on the position, wrong on the pick. Now, remember when we
Son
were...
of a biscuit. That's what was.
Yeah, they picked Equanu, and if you remember, we were very high on this kid as well when we were talking about potential first overall picks. I threw his name out there as one of them that could be a first pick. I'm not as high on him as I am on two of the other offensive linemen, but some people were. I think Evan Neal is clearly better, but like I said, people were really high on him. So we both got that one wrong.
My pick's already in for the Giants.
Yeah, it's Evan Neal, right? Right? They get to get their guy at 7 after getting the best available pick. But when you see some of the tape on Equanu, like, you can understand it. The man is mean, and he really, like, he attacks. And you'll see some of it, and there it is on some of the tape. He is mean, and he really goes after blowing up blocks. I don't think he is as sort of I guess polished as Evan Neal.
My main reason I don't like this pick for them is because I think you as a Panther, you'd rather a tackle than a guard.
Yeah, and
the Panthers have a
sure
couple decent guards, and they could have used that offensive tackle, that left tackle of the future. And I really think they might have missed it there with Neal.
Yeah, I agree.
This could come back to be one of the biggest mistakes in the draft for the Panthers.
Well,
I honestly think so.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? It's I had him high up on my board. So I'm not going to say that this is necessarily a miss.
I know it's you, Frenchie.
I just think that Evan Neal is next level. So like, it's not that they missed. It's just that when we're projecting guys that we think are sort of otherworldly, Evan Neal falls before him, and I actually have Charles Cross before him as well. So, like, I had Equanu as my third-rated offensive lineman, which, you know, it just depends on what you value.
If this pick stays in the Giants' hands, I do not have Neal like you do. If this pick stays in the Giants' hands, I have them getting the guy that's been sliding on the draft boards in Jermaine Johnson and completely solidifying their defensive line situation. That'll give you Tibbs and Johnson, two guys that could have went top 3 as your defensive lineman for the next 5 years. I think that's the move the Giants have to make. The pick is in. As of right now, it's not a trade. We thought the Giants would be the first trade. It is now known that it's not the Giants. Probably ends up being the Seahawks or the Jets, to be honest. But as of right now, there's no trade. The Giants' pick is in, and I got them getting Jermaine Johnson, another edge rusher to add with Thibodeau. You now have Thibodeau and Johnson. Johnson can be a true edge rusher with Thibodeau playing linebacker, or you could put them both as outside linebackers, run a 4-3, maybe even switch their defense to a 3-5 with those type of guys, and really have a balls-to-the-walls defensive front 7 that the Giants could really use.
Yeah, and you know, as a Florida State fan, it hurts me to say this, but watching Jermaine Johnson, his tape didn't look in the same class as a Thibodeau or a couple of these other guys at the top. So,
and that showed with his draft combine. I mean, he had the lowest draft combine for those guys as far as, like, unmatchables. But you're going against Aidan Hutchinson, who's
and look,
Jim Rat.
Yeah, and look, I get it. I just think, like, the reason why the Giants don't trade this pick is because Evan Neal was their guy, and they found out that they can still get him at 7. That's my personal opinion. Otherwise, they would do what they said they were going to do and trade this pick. But, you know, what I would...
Makes sense why the pick is still in.
What I would keep an eye out for is they may not value Evan Neal as much as we thought. So there's a chance that they could go with my number 2 offensive lineman on the board, which was Charles Cross. I personally think Evan Neal, he's once in a generation. I'll say it. I picked him for the last 2 picks before this one. So you guys have heard me say it a lot of times. But, I think that he's once in a generation.
The nice thing about Teddy, when Teddy starts getting picks wrong, he keeps going with what the pick should be. And I could catch up if I could just make a right pick myself.
He's not going to catch up because the logic is going to win out here.
All right, the pick is in.
With the 7th pick in the 2022 NFL Neal, tackle, Alabama.
I'm back, baby.
That's why they didn't trade it.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. Like, wait, just wait until you see. Like, look at the kid. He's a monster.
We had to have known, as you said. I just didn't want to take the pick because I wanted to try to jump back into the win column.
That's the smart move.
But we had to have known that the only reason that the Giants don't trade that pick, because they have already said at the beginning of this 10 minutes left before the draft started, they said that the Giants were actively shopping the 7th pick around because they just didn't think that they were going to use it. Clearly, they got some word that Evan Neal wasn't on their guys' board. They knew they could get him at 5. They knew that at 6 they weren't going to take him with the Panthers, so they stuck with the 7th pick. They kept the 7th pick, and they went Evan Neal like they were supposed to. That gives them one of the top edge rushers, which I think becomes a linebacker in the game, which is 2 of their big needs. But whichever one you put them in, it'll take away part of that need. And then an offensive lineman, and what they definitely need. They're not going to pay. They have a couple big rookie contracts that they're not going to be able to pay. They're trying to rebuild. They're trying to figure out if Danny Dimes is the guy. This is the year to figure out if Danny Dimes is the guy. You got him an offensive lineman. You're probably going to trade in and get another pick up here in the 3rd round because you got a lot of trade in the 1st round because you got a lot of trade pieces. Get your 3rd pick. Grab a wide receiver for Danny Dimes. Now you got a wide receiver for Danny Dimes. You got a running back for Danny Dimes. You got a tackle for Danny Dimes. You got a defense that can hold their own. Now it's Danny Dimes' time to figure out, hey, can I play football or not? And it's the Giants' time to figure out, are they going to pay Danny Dimes or are they going to go find somebody else? Because as of right now, it looks like they're going to find somebody else.
Yeah, and I think regardless of what happens here on out, I think we can all safely say that the Giants won in terms of their draft. Now, I'm not saying that they won the draft. Obviously, there's a ton of work left to do, but they won their draft. They got exactly what they needed to push themselves into the future, right?
They could have possibly won the 1st round, too. Obviously, with having 2 first-round picks and having 2 guys like that, it could happen that they win the 1st round of this NFL draft.
Yeah.
It's very likely that they do with having 2 picks at 5 and 7 and not missing. They didn't miss. That's usually what happens with teams that have a couple picks. They second-guess themselves. They third-guess themselves. They start questioning themselves. And next thing you know, they F up their own draft. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
for sure. To see the Giants not make any mistakes right there with their new GM, Joe Schuin, like, that could be their guy. That could be the new change. It could be what the Giants really needed.
Yeah. And Converse,
Atlanta is under 5 minutes left. Their big needs: wide receiver, running back, linebacker, and edge.
hold on, just really quick, Converse. I don't know. It starts with somebody looking to move up for a quarterback sometime in the teens.
So
we'll see.
the Falcons are signing Marcus Mariota to a 2-year deal should not prevent the Falcons from spending an early pick on a quarterback for the first time since 2008, Matty Ryan. There's also a matter of filling a hole at wide receiver. Oh, and breathing life into the worst pass rush in the league. Teddy, what are your thoughts? Where they go? Who we got?
Look, so I wouldn't hate anybody who said Jermaine Johnson here. But like I said, I did not love his tape. I would say it would be Garrett Wilson, the wide receiver out of Ohio State. They loved the kid. They loved everything about him. It's tough to talk about a wide receiver in this draft because I didn't see anybody who necessarily set themselves apart. There's one guy that I absolutely love, which we'll talk about later because he's not coming up until towards the end of the round when somebody steals him. I will say that he is a junior, to give you guys a hint. But if they're going to go wide receiver, I think they should go Drake London, but they loved Garrett Wilson. So I'm going to say that they go Garrett Wilson, the wide receiver out of Ohio State.
That's exactly who I started writing down as you said his name, so obviously I switched it up for a second, and I'm starting to look a little bit. I thought that was the pick for them as well. I think Garrett Wilson, but thinking about it, like, why go pick a wide receiver when you don't have a quarterback, right?
Because
and I don't think Marcus Mariota is that quarterback. And there's not really you already missed out. None of the big linemen slipped to you. None of the big linemen fell to you. So you don't go grab an offensive lineman here. The big defensive linemen already slipped. Like, they didn't slip. Our big ones. JJ's the only one out there that I could see them going to get from the defensive line, and that's why I'm going to take JJ. It would be my first quarterback here if JJ was gone, because that means all the good defensive line, all the big defensive linemen, all the big offensive linemen, all the big secondary would be gone. That's when you go gamble and you get that quarterback first. But with that being said, I'm going to take JJ as my pick here just because I think the Falcons could use help in all aspects of football.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this pre-draft. I actually think that they are the worst roster in football. Now, that being said, the reason why they would, in my opinion, get a wide receiver here is because they're missing one this year. And this year was a throwaway year. You talked about Mariota not being your guy.
Quarterbacks next season, I get it. Let's see who's right.
In the 2022 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Drake London.
Wow, another one.
USC.
Right position, wrong guy.
Yeah, and I think they got it right. Like I said, if it were me, I would take Drake London. Apparently, they were right, and they picked Drake London. So I actually owe them an apology for disrespecting them by saying they were going Garrett Wilson and thinking that they got it wrong. In fact, I got it wrong.
Drake London, wide receiver. It's a good pick. I like. Holy shit! Oh, that was Falcons pick still. See how I said pick was in? I was like, what? Their NFL comparison for London is Vincent Jackson, which I don't disagree with. He's a huge body, super fast, if I recall right.
Yeah, look,
even with this size.
Yeah, there was a lot of disrespect put on him because his combine numbers weren't great. Like, let me be very clear. This guy goes up and he high points the ball. He's ridiculously aggressive going against the ball. Former basketball player. They're showing his tape right now. He goes up and gets it. I think a better comparison for him would actually be probably Devontae Adams. But like they're showing some one-handed catches where he's just going up and he's high pointing the ball. You could throw deep fades to him. He's incredible. For me, he was easily the best wide receiver out there. I kept my mouth shut a bit because, like I said, there wasn't a clear massive advantage between like 1, 2, and 3. But I thought there was one guy for this NFL that just fit better than everybody else. And I'm a little biased because I do like the former basketball players transitioning to tight end and wide receiver. I just think in terms of going up and grabbing rebounds and just understanding how to locate a ball, it makes sense. So I love the Drake London pick, and I'm happy the Falcons got it right, even though that means that I had to get it wrong.
I mean, I like the Drake London pick, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if that's the guy. I mean, it's nice to have a Vincent Jackson, don't get me wrong. Like, we all like Vincent Jackson, but I think in this day and age in the NFL, you'd rather a Jamar Chase than a Vincent Jackson. Just my 2 cents. And, like, a Jamar Chase-like guy was on the board there, and you kind of passed on it. I think Teddy's right on the Falcons team motto this year. They went and got a wide receiver because they knew it wasn't quarterback heavy. They know next year's quarterback heavy, so they know that they can have a terrible season because they know next year that there's a ton of quarterbacks that they can go after.
But don't they already have a Jamar Chase? He's just suspended.
Ooh. The guy betting on football?
Yeah.
He was betting on football.
Don't they already have a guy that they think fits that mold? Whether or not we think that he fits that mold.
Calvin Ridley might never play football again.
Oh, come on. Like, we may not think he fits that mold, but they likely, feel that he fits
might
that
never
mold.
play football again. Seahawks are on the board. There are more pressing needs than we had room to include here, including replacing Bobby Wagner at middle linebacker, but none more important than finding a quarterback who can eventually, if not immediately, beat out Drew Lock for the starting job. I don't believe the answer is in this draft. I think Drew Lock was in this draft. He would be a better prospect than the 3 guys that are in front of him. Agreed. So I do not believe Seattle takes a quarterback. I would love if they took Howell or Willis here, not Kenny Pickett. I don't think Kenny Pickett fits there. I think Willis or Howell both fit there. I just don't think that they think that one of those 2 guys can beat out Drew Lock, which is why I got Seattle filling their void ever since they lost Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas, right? They don't have either one of those still?
Yep, correct.
And we're going to take Kyle Hamilton over here in the 1 and 6 corner. 1 and 7 at this point. Sheesh.
Okay, so here's my thing. My heart says Kyle Hamilton. We talked about this a little bit. I think he fits, man. He fits with Pete Carroll. He fits a team need. He is a game changer from a culture standpoint and from a talent standpoint.
And from an attitude standpoint, the captain ability right off the rip as like filling Bobby Wagner's void for that defensive captain, he's able to step in and fill that void immediately.
Yeah, but I did say that there were 3 elite offensive linemen.
You did say there were 3 elite offensive linemen, and from my count, there's only been 2 off the board.
You are correct.
Who's the 3rd elite offensive lineman?
It's Charles Cross, and that is my pick here. Look, I think Charles Cross, in my opinion, was better than Equanu. Not as good as Evan Neal.
Just so you know, I do have trade right here. I think this pick is traded, but if they keep it, I got Kyle Hamilton.
That's fair.
I do think this is a trade here. It's still 3 minutes. The time's ticking down. It could mean they're working out a trade details, but I do think this is the first trade we see possibly. If not, I think it's Kyle Hamilton. I don't disagree with the Cross thing, obviously. They're trying to build for their future there in Seattle, and you can't build with their future without having a solidified offensive line for the new quarterback you bring in. I think Cross would help out if they go get Baker, or if they end up having Drew Lock for the season. They could also be a team that's playing for next year's quarterback draft lottery. So we'll see what happens with them. The pick is in.
Yeah,
right as I looked up and right as the Samsung Galaxy thing said ding, the pick is in.
Just keep in mind that we watched a quarterback that was headed towards an easy first ballot Hall of Fame status, early Super Bowl win. So we watched him get mollywopped the last few years. I just think that if you're going to, in my opinion, they're going to go get an additional quarterback. I think it's going to be Baker Mayfield. But whoever it is, you can't send them out there with that offensive line, in my opinion. And you can't fix the whole offensive line in 1 year. But like I said, in any draft in the last decade, to me, all 3 of these offensive linemen are top 10 picks. So 2 of them have gone in the top 10, and there's 1 left. So I just think that he has to go here or to the Jets. Obviously, I think he goes here.
I hope he goes here because the Jets would be set up for exactly what I've been asking, what I asked them to do. Jets win the draft if Kyle Hamilton is still there and they go get him.
Yeah, dude, you called it?
Called this from the jump. I will go head over heels and saying I will have to be a Jets defensive fan. I can't be fully a Jets fan, so I'll have to be a defensive Jets fan.
Yeah, they were talking
I saw
about
a giant trade. It's the Russell Wilson trade they're talking about.
Yeah, which hopefully they can turn into something significant in the coming years. So
the nice thing is they still got a bunch of picks. So they got the 9th overall, the 2nd and the 5th in this draft, and then the 1st and the 2nd one next year, plus a great tight end and a young tight end and Noah Fant.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we keep saying
who makes the biggest reach for their guy outside of the top 10? New England Patriots.
Anybody who grabs Kenny Pickett. I mean, I just look at when I look at the measurables, when I look at the tape, when I listen to what people are saying who aren't ultra critical about him, there's nothing about this guy that tells me he should be a number 1 quarterback. What they tell me is that he's already reached his ceiling, and he's 3rd round talent. So we'll see.
My favorite thing about this is hoping that the Patriots get 1 more pick in the 1st round and go get both of the Alabama wide receivers and really solidify this offense for Mac Jones.
That'd be amazing. Pick us in.
With the 9th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Charles Cross.
And Teddy's right again.
It's a smart pick. You got to do it. You have to. Dude, we just watched on national TV a Hall of Fame quarterback basically almost have his career ended before getting traded away. He was melting. Obviously, there was a lot of turmoil between him and the organization last year, and I think a lot of it had to do with that offensive line and how they couldn't protect him. Now, some of that's him, but some of it was the offensive line. Now they're addressing it.
For those of you who have been watching us since pre-draft, I have been praying and hoping that somebody with 2 picks get Sauce and Hamilton. And I said, I think it's going to be the Jets. I think the Jets are able to get them both. I thought the Jets were going to have to move up to get Hamilton. Clearly, just like the Giants knew Neal was good at 7, the Jets knew Hamilton was good at 10. The Jets go Kyle Hamilton right here. If they pick anybody else besides Kyle Hamilton, they're the biggest losers in this draft, bar none. And it won't even be close. The Jets can solidify their defense for the next 5 years without having to pay a nickel more than $2.5 million for those two guys, maybe $4 million for these two guys. Like, they're going to get away so cheap with the brand new Legion of Boom. It has finally been created. We get to see the Seattle Seahawks defense again in Jets, in the New York Jets uniform. Kind of the same color green, little different, lime to lemon. Let's go!
Look,
I've been saying it since the beginning.
Look,
I should win everything.
He's been speaking it into existence.
If I get both of these.
He's been speaking it into existence, and it would be absolutely amazing if they were to do it. But like, as he goes to dab, like, let me be very clear with you guys. We are talking about the Jets. No matter how you feel, whether you're a Patriots fan, you got hate for the Jets, you got love for the Jets, like, they can't help themselves. There is no way that they make this pick. Like, don't tell him I said there was no way when he gets back, but there was no way they are making this pick. Like, just give them an opportunity. It's almost similar to what Stephen A. Smith says about the Cowboys, like they're a mistake waiting to happen. Things are lined up perfectly for the Jets, which is when you should probably be most scared that they're going to find a way to screw it up. And I do have them screwing it up. I don't have them picking him. And when he gets back, I'll reveal my pick. But they'll find a way to screw this up because this is what they do. Do I wish they would pick him and get it right? Absolutely. Everything he lined up was correct.
Why isn't the Jets picking yet?
Yeah, because they're going to find a way to mess it up. They will, without question. And it's a shame because, like, you should be running that front office because this is what you've been calling for the better part of the last 4 hours. And Brady fan, yeah, they do have good safeties. Look, they have a secondary that is versatile, and so is Kyle Hamilton.
Hey, there's 110 of you out there on TikTok. Anybody want to shoot golf with me tomorrow? I need one more. Preferably if you shoot under an 80, I will take your application. I need one player in Hillview.
The pick is in. Is Kyle Hamilton your official pick?
Of course it is.
All right, mine is Jamison Williams because they can't help themselves. Jamison Williams is box office, and when it comes to a guy that's box office, they can't help but to pick him. So we'll see. Obviously, Alabama, in a lot of nationally televised games, they were obviously watching. The Jets probably don't do a whole lot of their own homework, and so they're going to look at the guy who jumped off as, just a big name coming out of this draft, even though I think he's probably the third best receiver with some question marks. But he is blazing fast. He is blazing fast.
Fly me out. I need you here by 8:30 tomorrow morning. I don't know if that would work too well.
I don't know if we can get you out that quick.
I don't know if the red eye works quite like that.
But the pick is in, and
this has to be Kyle Hamilton.
Look, I feel so bad because he called it to this point. He said they got to get these two guys together. Everything lined up. You got a team who has 2 picks in the top 10.
Who do the Jets have at safety? Just Jamal Adams, right? Is that who has Jamal Adams?
Jamal Adams is in the Seattle.
He said the Jets have good safeties.
They have 2 decent
safeties. They don't have Kyle Hamilton.
Do I think that's the right pick? No, I don't. Do I think they can help themselves? Hell no.
Jets pick is in. Come on.
In the 2022 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, Ohio State.
I was wrong. Right position, wrong pick. I still think they screwed it up. I do think Garrett Wilson is better than Jamison Williams, but
What's going on anymore, guys? I don't know what's going on. The best player in the draft is still on the fucking board, and it's the 11th pick. Who was this? Who was this guy? Who was it?
It was Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, Ohio State. Look,
I'm 1-9.
his NFL comp is Lynn Swann. Let me make that clear.
Wow.
They said Lynn Swann. Who did I have as a player comp for him?
Who are we? Wide receivers?
Yeah, because I don't think I had Lynn Swann.
Who's this?
Garrett.
Chad Ochocinco.
Okay, I had Chad Ochocinco. It's better than Lynn Swann. No, you're right. His stock is down. Jameson Williams, because obviously of the torn ACL. I just thought that they wouldn't be able to help themselves. And, he is box office. So
I can't believe that they just fucked that up. I can't believe
he says somebody buy that team.
I can't believe they just fucked that up.
They need to sell it immediately.
No, Sam Howell, 32 to the Lions. I said that pre-draft. It's also my first quarterback off the board as well. He's my surprise first quarterback off the board. If he doesn't get picked sooner, I have him taken by the Lions at 32. 6 minutes left in the Redskins. The Redskins got a lot of woes. A case can be made that the quarterback remains a draft need for the Commanders, even after the significant investment in Carson Wentz. If Washington really is in a win-now mode, though, it's best to find Terry McCollum a compliment and shore up the secondary. Teddy?
Yeah, I have them shoring up the secondary. I think that this pick
Saints
has now
are
been
now
traded.
on the clock.
All right, it's time
Saints
to
are now
scramble.
on the clock. We have our first trade. We have our first trade, ladies and gentlemen. They're not talking about it yet, though, but it is on the board. The Saints are on the board. The Saints are on the board. I assume the Commanders are going down here somewhere.
Who could they possibly
Saints are
want?
on the board, ladies and gentlemen. Saints are on the board, and obviously they know that they have to go get Kyle Hamilton. He has slipped this far. Safety is a big need for the Saints. If the Saints are content to ride with Jameis Winston, Andy Dalton, and Ian Book at quarterback in 2022, and it seems like a big if after the teams trade to acquire a second first rounder in this year's draft. Replacing Terron Armstead and adding an explosive pass catcher should be top draft priorities. Teddy, what do you think about the Saints? What does this trade mean?
So it's tough because I do think that the Commanders wanted Kyle Hamilton. So they wouldn't trade that pick if they wanted him and the Saints were going to get him. I had the Saints taking an offensive lineman in Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa. This is too early to pick him up. Man, this is a tough one. I think they have to be looking at wide receiver here. And if it were me, I would say that there's one guy left at wide receiver that we thought was going to go that we thought was going to go by now, and that's Jameson Williams. So that's who I'm going to pick just because the trade seems a little weird. Because I thought they were gonna stand packed and they were gonna grab an offensive lineman. Now I wouldn't rule out where we have like 3.5 minutes left. I wouldn't rule out that they actually aren't sold on Jameson Winston and they're going up to get a quarterback. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Jameson Williams.
JJ's still on the board, right?
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys? We are Fresh Pulls. We are here live in our podcast studio. We are watching the NFL Draft live on television, telling you guys all of our picks, all of our insights, all of our thoughts. We have all of our notes. We have all of our paperwork. We have our mock drafts, our news. We have everything going on. We are giving you live, up-to-date information as fast as possible. We are letting you know what's going on. Right now, we are at pick 11. The Commanders have traded it to the Saints. There are under 3 minutes left on the clock. I have the Saints jumping up and getting Kyle Hamilton. I think he's the best player in this draft, and I think you have to get him but
Yeah, I mean, I have Jameson Williams going here, but But just to shout out Dennis Dunlap, look, I agree they should take a quarterback, and then everybody else should take quarterbacks as well to push the talent back to the Eagles. You're talking to a big Eagles fan here.
Dennis says, please take a QB and push back the talent.
Yep.
Push the talent back to the Eagles.
Brady fan. I think that's the wide receiver from Ohio State, right? That would be a good place here. I know that they liked the kid a lot, but I don't think there was a threat for him to go this early. So to trade up, I think they would have to be a little nervous about a guy getting taken. I had him projected to go somewhere in the late teens. I thought that they would actually be able to potentially get him with their 19th pick after they took an offensive lineman with their 16th. This is a weird position to be in.
For sure. He does have the knee injury, and you got to worry about that, obviously. Just like the reason why Jameson Williams is slipping. You got to worry about these guys with their injuries, obviously. The pick is in for the Saints. We're still waiting for the commissioner to come up. Right now, Mel's best available: Kyle Hamilton, Jermaine Johnson, Jameson Williams, Daxton Hill, Chris Olave. That is his top 1 to 5. Safety, D-end, wide receiver, safety, wide receiver.
Yeah, so Brady fan 617, you mentioned Chris, and he's number 5, best available on Mel Kiper's
I can't believe
big
Daxton
board,
Hill's
so.
that high up on the board, because I just felt like he's slept on right now. I thought that was going to be a late pick by the Patriots. If he's still hanging around for the Patriots pick, I have him at one of their picks as a guy that they would like.
I didn't know he was going to be that high on Mel's board. I had him going 21st to the Patriots, Daxton Hill. So that's interesting.
That's
when we talked
we
about
haven't discussed our boards,
just
so you guys all know as that comes out.
Yeah, when we talked about areas of need for the Patriots
like to help
earlier
each other.
on, no, not at all. We talked about areas of need. I felt like he was the safest pick where you weren't overpaying and you were getting a guy that was versatile and could play both corner and safety.
We also have to assume that this could be JJ. I mean, he's the biggest slide so far besides Kyle. Kyle and JJ are the 2 slides right now, right?
For sure.
So we have to assume it's one of them, and
But
if it's
I don't
not
think-
one of them, it's got to be the best wide receiver on the board. It can't be any of the 3.
No,
so it's
but-
got to be 1, 2, or yours.
It's tough because like I said about Jermaine, is that I didn't like his tape, and this is Jermaine Johnson for anybody who just jumped on. He's the edge rusher from Florida State. His tape didn't impress me, and then his combine didn't impress me. So I'm just still shocked that people had him rated so high. But look, if that's where they're projecting him, that's where they're projecting him.
Commissioner's here.
I just didn't see it.
The NFL Draft is a time of optimism for all 32 teams and their fans. We've got a similar time 2 weeks from tonight when we announce the 2022 schedule on May 12th. This year's schedule will have a new twist, as our Thursday night games will be carried by a new partner, Amazon Prime Video. Joining me are Chargers and Chiefs season ticket members James Debo and Moose Film. Also here
I hate Goodell.
is Pro Football Hall of Famer Tony Gonzalez, who will be part of the Prime Video broadcast team.
Oh, that's good. I like Tony talking.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Thanks, Roger. How's everybody doing?
How come he didn't announce the other guy?
Good. Tell you what, I am excited.
There's 4 guys on the stage. He only announced 3 of them.
For Amazon. You may recognize this guy right here next to me. He's going to be helping me make this announcement.
Oh, maybe I should know him.
For Prime Video, which will be airing on week 2 of the NFL season, September 15th. Los Angeles running back Austin Eckler.
Oh.
Huh?
He's so little. Austin Eckler's so little, guys.
This game that we're going to kick it off is going to be out in Arrowhead on Thursday night against the Chargers. And I tell you what, Austin.
All right, let's go.
If you want my opinion about this game, whoever has the ball last.
There's no details on the trade that has been reported on the TV as of right now. No details yet.
It doesn't get much better than this. It doesn't get much better than this. Thursday night football. You got 2 high-powered teams.
A whole bunch of mamble-jamble bullshit talking. Just tell us the pick already.
If you don't rock with the Chargers or Chiefs, I know you got me on your fantasy team, so those
Ha ha!
watching, it's gonna be awesome.
He knows the deal.
I'll tell you what, we're looking forward to it. This rivalry goes back 62 years
series, you're not going to see that every time these two teams get together, it's explosion, it's fireworks, it's touchdowns.
Explosing.
So we will see you there September 15th.
Make the pick. Good talk. Make the pick.
Excuse me. All right, let's go.
You guys got Michael Thomas issues. Go get your wide receiver and call it a day.
The Washington Commanders have traded the 11th pick to the New Orleans Saints. With the 11th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Chris Olave.
Chris Olave, Brady fan with the win.
You were right.
Brady fan. For that, next time you're here, Jesse, come pick up his pack.
I love
I'm gonna
it.
open up a pack for you, Brady fan. You're on Twitch. I'll do this.
Ohio State history breaking David Boston's record of 34.
All right, talk a little bit about the pick team.
Ohio State wide receivers.
Yeah, you know,
Saints traded the 16th pick, the 98th pick, and the 120th pick.
oh well, I mean that's not terrible.
Brady Peters, Kenny Brooks,
So,
Garrison McDowell, Bryce Young.
oh, look at that. Got some nice picks there. Got some nice players there. So for Chris Olave, you know, he is.
That's why you won that pack, Brady fan.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, I know they have him projected as as a good player. I thought he was just okay, but his tape I don't think necessarily does him justice. He does have great speed. He moves his hips really well. He gets in and out of his breaks really well. And like when he breaks away, he breaks away. I think he probably translates to being a slot receiver and not necessarily being on the outside in the NFL, even though he did line up on the outside at Ohio State. I think for a player comp, what did I have
For
Chris Olave?
Chris Godwin.
And I think that's actually a damn good player comp.
For sure.
Yeah, I was trying to think of kind of who he would remind me of in the NFL, and Chris Godwin is a good pick. Like I said, you saw it, prior to the injury for Chris Godwin. A lot of speed, gets in and out of his cuts really well. Great hip fluidity. So I think they're getting a player that, and obviously all of this is dependent on their current wide receiver situation. They have a disgruntled wide receiver. I don't think this pick is great if you can't pair him, with Michael Thomas. I think if you pair him with Michael Thomas,
there was
it
another
looks
trade.
fantastic.
Lions are on the board, and their pick is in.
Okay, so now we're up to 2 trades.
Lions are on the board, and their pick is in. Lions are on the board. Where were the Lions? The Lions weren't in the first round.
Yeah, I didn't think they had another pick in the first round. This is actually where it gets really interesting because they
had the last pick. I'm not looking at the rest of it. Huh?
Yeah, I think that what they need is an additional defensive lineman. I don't think they picked JJ here. I think they are probably looking at wide receiver. And they're seeing all these wide receivers go, and that's why they need to jump up to get one.
Williams.
And I think Williams would be the only other wide receiver.
Williams or Burke as far as wide receiver.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go Jamison Williams because I think they have to go get him here.
I think Vikings traded the pick to the Lions. Yep. I think another trade. Eagles are at 13. Eagles are at 13 now. Eagles are at 13.
This is getting scary, guys. So now we're up to 3 trades.
Lions are taking a quarterback. I hope it's Sam Howell. My bold prediction is correct. I believe it's Malik Willis.
Yeah, so I think Jamison Williams goes here, and just as an Eagles fan, I'll go ahead and say that. I mean, I think that what they wanted to go up and get here is Kyle Hamilton. He's slipping. What do they have to say? Yeah, that'd be interesting to pair him with Devontae Smith.
Mel Kiper thinks the Eagles move up for Williams.
Yeah, if the Eagles went up to 13 to hopefully get to Williams. Wow.
They're
Okay.
thinking Malik.
Yeah, so they're thinking the Lions are going up to get Malik, which, look, when we asked about trades, right, there was one thing that I said that I thought would happen. I got Jameson Williams going to the Lions. When somebody had asked about trades and what I thought was going to happen, I said I thought people would stay packed to get their wide receivers because there's a lot of wide receivers.
Lions get 12th overall, 2022 second-round pick. Vikings get 32nd, 34th, and a third-round pick. That's a nice move for the Vikings.
That's a very nice move for the Vikings.
That's a nice move for the Vikings. I like that move for the Vikings.
Now, so what I said was that I thought that in the teens you were going to see some trades for somebody going up and grabbing their quarterback. And so that might be what we see here. That's what Mel Kiper thinks we're going to see here. I think the Lions are going to try to steal Jameson Williams, though, from the Eagles, which I think the Eagles are actually okay with.
Because they know that they can get one or two, either one.
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions select Jameson Williams.
All right, so Jameson
Teddy's
Williams goes
right
there.
again.
All right, so to explain what I think happened here is I think the Eagles actually made the move after the Lions, understanding that the Eagles wanted Jameson Williams to pair with Devontae Smith. But they are okay because they need to address their secondary issue, and you can do that in a number of ways here with this pick. So I actually like the Jameson Williams pick. For a moment, I did think that there was a good chance that that Mel was right and that they were going up to get their quarterback, which would have been a position that I was okay with them going up and grabbing there. But they didn't, and so now we're on to the Eagles.
And you obviously got Hamilton going to the Eagles now?
Yeah, I mean,
the Eagles were either taking William. What possibly could have happened is the Eagles might have traded before and we just didn't get the word. The Lions knew that the Eagles traded and the Lions wanted to go steal them from them. That could have happened. Or exactly like you said, the Eagles were okay with getting one or the other. Mm-hmm. They were happy in the position, so they jumped up and grabbed that spot saying, Lions, take whichever one, I'll take the other. I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
Which I think is a win-win for both teams.
Correct. Now, in terms of the Eagles' needs, I think everybody had them all over the board. So, I mean, as we look through, there's Trent McDuffie at corner. You still have Andre Booth Jr. at corner. And so there's two really good corners there. And then you have Daxton Hill at safety.
Did you say McDuffie?
Yeah.
All right, just checking.
And then you have Daxton Hill, and you have Kyle Hamilton. So you have two good corners and two good safeties in a position that the Eagles have the 13th pick and can address one of those needs. And it's really tough to say where they're going to go, but I think that Kyle Hamilton is too good to pass up. So although I don't know
so the Eagles
if he's
pick
a great
is in.
fit for them.
Eagles pick is in, then we got Baltimore and Houston currently. Baltimore and Houston.
And I think we both have Kyle Hamilton as our picks,
both have
right?
Kyle Hamilton going here to the Eagles, correct. I think it has to be Eagles. Dennis is saying, please take Hamilton.
Yeah. I forgot. We identified Dennis as one of our or one of my co-Eagles fans here. So I agree with you, man. I don't know if he's the best pick in this position. I think Daxton Hill might be a better fit from a scheme perspective, but Hamilton is too talented to pass up here. Honestly, I don't think, as long as the Eagles go corner or go safety here, I actually don't think they have a bad pick. I think they have a wealth of potential picks, and they can't go wrong. Go Birds, baby. Fly, Eagles, fly. Yeah, right now we're at a position in this draft where there is a ton of secondary talent, and it's perfect because I think there's a lot of teams that need corners.
Can we address the last pick for a second? Williams?
Yeah. And
what do we think about him coming off his injury? So our player comparisons, Jerry Jeudy, sleek, fast, spindly, wide out, with bouncy, flexible game, changes gears in his route, has high-end downfield speed, above average, spectacular because of his ultra-light feet, was used in jet sweep screen game often, and was typically productive there. 6'2", 180. Weakness, occasionally body catches the football, can get outplayed physically. What are your thoughts on this kid? Coming off a knee injury, right? This is the kid coming off the knee injury?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Coming off of a knee injury, but, this is 2022. We're not, if this was 2010, then we would have probably more questions than we have about him right now.
Yeah.
So I think he projects well to that team. I just think that, at this position, he is a sort of a do-nothing pick because I don't believe in Goff. I think it was Brady fan who said it earlier. He said that their quarterback situation is Goffle, which is a nice play on God awful. And I agree with you. And it's tough.
Is it Jared Goff is that awful?
I think that he is not terrible when if you put him in a Jimmy G situation, right, where you don't ask him to go sling the ball all over the place, that he could be okay. But I just don't think that he is a quarterback that will help that terrible franchise.
Does Baltimore go get a wide receiver and try to help out the offense that is, or what do you think that the Ravens do next?
No, the Ravens need to address defense next, and honestly, they're sitting pretty. You have Jermaine still there.
Yep.
So you have Jermaine Johnson still there, and they need help on the defensive line. You have the two cornerbacks that we mentioned, and they need cornerback help. Some people had a linebacker slated here, but you know how I feel about the linebackers of this class. I think that they are as forgettable as the quarterbacks of this class. So I just think there's a number of ways they can go, and none of them are wrong.
I definitely think that the Eagles have to take Hamilton here. I think the Ravens go defense next. I think the Ravens have to go JJ. They just need so much help on both sides of the ball. They're like almost a complete team, but they're just not quite there yet.
Yeah, and look, some people had, it was very few. I think out of the, just to let you guys know the homework that I put in on this one, I looked at 12 different mock drafts, and there was only one that had JJ falling to where I thought he belonged, which was somewhere between about 15 and 17.
Do you think the Panthers trade back into the first round to get a quarterback?
I think they have to if they're serious, because I think the quarterbacks are going to go quickly on day 2.
Especially after getting one of the big offensive linemen.
Yeah, it's so tough because is there really a difference between grabbing a quarterback at the end of the first round or the quarterback that you're going to get late in the second round or early in the third round?
It just depends on – the only difference is if you have a guy or not. If you have a guy and he's still sitting on the board and you see how easy trades are right now probably,
yeah,
then you probably jump back in and grab it. If you have a guy, if the Panthers have a guy. I don't think the Panthers have a guy. I really don't think so.
Yeah, and look, it's quickly going the opposite of how we thought it could go.
Over
which is
4
really bad.
right now? What's the fourth? Only 3 right now, right?
Yeah, we're at 3 right
trades.
now. Yeah, the Commanders, the Vikings,
Unless there's one more I don't know
and
about.
the Eagles.
Commanders, Vikings, yeah, Eagles.
And
Texans.
I'm sorry, yeah, and the Texans trading to the Eagles.
Yeah.
We're not counting those as double picks with the Texans and the Eagles. I know that each of them gave up a first round.
It's just a trade.
Yeah,
13th
it's just a trade.
overall for and Texans got the 15th, 22nd, 4th, and 2 22nd, 5ths.
Yeah, which I think is fine.
That's not a bad price to pay.
Yeah, I think it's fine if you're going up to go get your guy.
Saints traded down as well. No, Saints traded up. Which is Commanders trade, the Vikings trade, and the Texans trade. Those are the 3. From what I've seen.
As far as I know. I mean, look, we might have just not gotten some information, so we'll see when the pick gets there, I guess, right? Yeah, because I think, as far as I know, we're at 3 right now. I know he set the over-under at 4.5. A lot of people took the over. I took the under.
What are the
but
chances
it's not looking
Kenny
great for me.
Pickett goes to the Steelers? I think Steelers would want Malik Willis before Kenny Pickett if Malik Willis is still on the board.
Yeah, and we discussed that on here pre-draft when he asked me who I thought was the best fit for any quarterback if I was going to project them to any team, and that was my best fit. I think Malik Willis in Pittsburgh would be perfect. I think his situation would be perfect behind Mitch the Bitch. I think he has an opportunity to sit and not necessarily be rushed and learn the system and then step on the field and be groundbreaking. The pick is in.
Joining me for the Eagles pick are 6 high school tackle and flag football captains from teams across Clark County and Las Vegas. They truly exemplify the NFL's values of respect, integrity, resiliency, and responsibility to their teams. Congratulations to all of you on your accomplishments, and good luck on the upcoming season.
Come on, Kyle Hamilton, come on.
The Houston Texans have traded
Kyle Hamilton is both of our picks right here. Teddy is an Eagles fan.
with the 13th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. The Philadelphia Eagles select Jordan Davis, defensive tackle, Georgia.
Wow. Jordan Davis.
Big man in the middle for the national champs and that legendary.
This is
Jordan Davis.
This is really depressing.
Where the hell's that kid on the board?
Look, I mean, he was probably somewhere between 20 and 25 on my board. Look, not a bad player. A big nose tackle. Looks like they're obviously trying to address the Fletcher Cox situation. He does have a bit of a pass rush, and has good moves. He's not an every down defensive tackle. I mean, I think that's
Teddy,
my big issue.
you sound
with
so
him.
depressed with this pick. Tell us as an Eagles fan how you feel.
Look, I feel exactly the way Dennis feels. He said not the move, and I feel the same way. I mean, you get a player. Look, there were 4 to 5 picks that you could make here where I said you couldn't go wrong, and they went with none of those guys. At the 13th pick, you had a guy that I had somewhere between 20 and 25 on my board, and a guy that doesn't necessarily fill a need, and a guy who's not an every down player. You don't pick a non-every down player 13th overall in the first round.
Why
It's
do you jump
wild.
up to grab that guy? Who grabs him between the Texans? Like, they must have thought the Ravens wanted them.
Yeah, look, and the Ravens would probably have ended up in getting him, but I have no problem with the Ravens going
Ravens
up and
pick
getting
is
him.
already in.
Yeah, this is absolutely wild. I'm wildly disappointed here, and to be honest with you guys, I'm a little depressed.
Sounds like the Eagles fans that we've known.
Yeah, this hurts.
They were so excited that they moved up and got a pick.
Yeah, this hurts, and I'm sure Dennis feels the way I feel, that we almost thought at this position that they couldn't get it wrong, and they clearly did. Yeah, and that's what they're saying right now. They're saying that they don't understand this pick. It's not a guy who gets to the quarterback. Like I said, he's a decent or average pass rusher at best. Hold on. What are they saying? Yep, before trying to get to the quarterback.
This is
a concern.
incredible.
Inconsistent pass rush effort.
They're as upset with the pick as Teddy is, guys. They were scared that Baltimore would take him. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, and
I guess so.
I agree with all of you guys in the chat that this is flat out a bad pick. Yeah, this is wild. I'm wildly disappointed. And
He doesn't seem like a Vince Wilfork type, though, Brady fan. Vince Wilfork gets to the quarterback.
Yeah, Vince Wilfork had a motor. This guy has no motor. I don't know, man. He's lazy. Look, I might be being a little harsh here. You know how it's Eagles
With
fans
the Ravens
get.
pick being in, I got to take Kyle Hamilton yet again. Like, I just can't see him keep slipping.
Yeah, and
it was
we
in
have,
so quick.
We have Boo Scary saying Georgia defense carried him. I agree. I 100% agree. This is sad.
Who do you go with the Ravens?
I'm going to go with JJ. I'm going to go with Jermaine Johnson. I think this is where I had him slated.
So it makes sense if JJ goes here because they had their eyes set on Davis, clearly, if the Eagles jumped up to grab him. So I think JJ's a good complimation prize. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be Jermaine or Kyle.
Yeah, I think it's Jermaine.
I agree with you, Boo. I'm pissed that the Jets didn't take him and have Juice and fucking Kyle.
Yeah, I agree. He just said Kyle cannot slide down this far. Look, I agree. He should have gone way earlier. This is absolutely wild. But I think they have to go Jermaine Johnson here. I think he fills a need, 1. And then 2, I think I said it in the beginning of the draft. And I said it all the way through the first, 6, 7 picks, that I thought he was overrated by the people who were scouting him. I didn't look. I'm a Florida State fan. I didn't love his tape. I didn't love his combine. I didn't love anything that I saw from him as a top 10 pick. They had him easily slated as a top 10 pick. Most mock drafts had him in the top 10. I thought that he was somewhere in the teens, middle to late teens.
I think he just said I can't slide anymore, too.
Yeah.
I literally just think, if I can read lips, ladies and gentlemen, Kyle himself said, I can't slide anymore.
Look, the smart pick for the Ravens right now would be Kyle Hamilton because he just cannot slide. But Jermaine Johnson does fit a need, so it's a question of whether they go best available or they go with filling a big area of need for them. I think they go with filling a big area of need, while Burt feels like they get best player available.
I also think the Ravens just need a spark plug on that team that's not named Lamar Jackson. Hollywood Brown, we thought could have been it. He's not really that spark plug because you get Lamar Jackson. He doesn't want to take the limelight away. I think they need that defensive spark plug. I don't think it's Jermaine Johnson. I think it has to be Kyle Hamilton. Oh, my God, I'd go crazy if the Patriots got a chance at Kyle Hamilton and didn't get him.
Yeah, there's no way that the league can allow Kyle Hamilton to end up a Patriot. There's no way. There's just absolutely no way. So this pick is in. Could you just for a moment read off to me what our team scouting is for Houston, if we can get that in before this pick comes in, because Houston is next.
For a team with needs just about everywhere, Houston can absolutely afford to take the best player available. Ideally, the Texans draft haul will help remake Lovie Smith's defense and give Davis Mills something that resembles adequate support.
Interesting.
Picks here.
The Baltimore Ravens select Kyle Hamilton.
Bang!
Defensive back,
There we go.
Notre Dame.
You can't slide no more.
Absolutely great.
That was
pick.
the right pick at the right time.
It sure was.
Right pick at the right time.
Look, I got that one wrong, but for once, I'm actually very happy that I got that one wrong. That kid, he deserved to go way sooner. He deserved to be an Eagle, to be honest with you. But, we'll leave that one alone. But, yeah, he was number 4 on Mel's big board. I think he was number 1 on your big board in terms of the best player in the draft.
He was definitely number 1 in my big board as far as best player in the draft. Never thought he'd go number 1 because Aidan Hutchinson's an absolute
of course
freak of nature on the defensive line.
Yeah, hold on real quick. 6'4", 220.
Yeah, can play anywhere.
Yeah, as a player who can play on multiple levels on the defense. Yeah. Your player comp, I think, was the same as mine, was Ed Reed.
I got him more of an Earl Thomas with a Cam Chancellor body. Well, I got him as a perfect mix of the two.
Well, that's the crazy thing. Yeah, he can do both.
Do both. He can play linebacker. He can be the 6th man on the line. He can play you in coverage as a cornerback. He can drop back and cover the zone. He's got the speed enough to cover any part of the field. I think Kyle Hamilton's another character.
Yeah.
That was from 15 yards back on a 4th and 1. He came in and made that tackle.
Yeah, when you talk about a kid who just has instincts to just step in and
Boo,
play
are you
any
a
position,
Ravens fan?
It's wild.
I love the pick. Texans pick is already in. Super pick quick. It's an easy pick for me. I want Teddy to make his first.
Yeah, I think I have to go Jermaine Johnson. I don't think that – look, I had him slated in this area. So
this has to be Jermaine Johnson. Two of the biggest areas for the Texans are cornerback and defensive line. They solidified the cornerback with Stingley. They solidify right now with a guy that should have went in the top 10 and Jermaine Johnson. They are all set now defensively. They get to work on the rest of the thing. They believe in Davis Mills. Oh, sorry, I got to sneeze. They believe in Davis Mills enough to solidify the defense before they go to the offense. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Davis Mills is good enough to win a couple games. He's good enough to get you over that hump until next year when you can go in and get another top-tier pick. But I'm happy with this right now. I think Houston gets JJ. I think they have a chance to win the first round now.
Wow, Kyle Hamilton's player comps are great. Isaiah Simmons and Jalen Ramsey, and they're talking about exactly
Simmons is a lineman.
Yeah, and they're talking about
a lineman. They're comparing a safety to a lineman.
Yeah, and they're saying literally exactly what we were talking about is that his instincts are otherworldly, and he has slot versatility. He can play anywhere. He can do anything. He immediately turns into a leader on your defense and a guy who's a catalyst for everything that you do. And then in coverage, he can play man. He can play zone. And he's going to be fantastic with that size that we mentioned to be able to lock up some of those great tight ends that are really versatile and that, the league is still trying to adjust to. Is those speedy, tall tight ends, and he can man them up and just go. When we talk about the Texans and this pick, we both have Jermaine Johnson as the pick, and I think it's really because what we scouted was that they needed to go best available. And then we scouted a specific need for them being their defensive line. This fills both the best available and their need. So I think they can't go wrong with Jermaine Johnson here. I don't even have a second or a long shot pick here.
I don't disagree with that. That puts Commanders on deck with the Chargers at 17.
He does love the Ravens, even though he's from Cleveland. And, yeah, the Ravens did just pick up a stud.
In the 2022 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Kenyon Green, guard, Texas A&M.
Wow.
So Kenyon Green is who they pick. This one is a little uncomfortable for me because I didn't necessarily study him as much as I should because I honestly didn't love anything about him. So he was decent in terms of his measurables. So I think that's the big thing with him. And let me write down that he was picked.
I mean, it certainly helps them as the Texans because kind of like what I was saying, they do believe in Davis Mills. This helps solidify the middle, which is where they were the weakest on the offensive line. They can put this kid at left guard or right guard. He can pull. He can play tackle if need to when they get injuries. So, it's not a terrible pick, but he's not a prototypical NFL lineman, in my opinion. He's a good college lineman, but I don't think he's going to be a great NFL lineman, in my opinion. That's why I'm a little disappointed with the pick.
Yeah, I don't think he is. So he's a lineman that I don't think is great at run blocking, and he isn't great at pass blocking. I think what happened here is they saw a guy who's pretty athletic from just from a footwork standpoint, and who has stupid long arms, and they probably couldn't get over the measurables. It looks like the Commanders' pick is already in.
Woo, that was quick.
That was super quick, and now I'm starting to question whether or not they are going up to get Daxon Hill. Yeah, what do we have written down for the Commanders?
Commanders, a case could be made that quarterback remains a draft need for the Commanders, even after a significant investment in Carson Wentz. If Washington really is in a win-now mode, though, it is best to find Scary Terry a compliment and shore up their secondary.
Yeah, so they could go wide receiver here. I think secondary is likely with Daxton Hill, a guy who can play corner, can play safety. I've gotten 3 picks in a row wrong, and I'm going to really, really reach here. And I'm going to go with Andrew Booth Jr.
Huh. Same position, different guy.
McDuffie.
I got McDuffie going here. I think the Commanders could really use a lockdown. Hollywood Brown on the move. Wow. What? What happened? I didn't see it. Where? Talk to me. Tell me what's going on.
Hollywood Brown is on the move.
Check your Bleacher Reports.
I didn't get anything in the last couple minutes.
Are you haunted by your cable service? Have you noticed strange, frightening fees on your monthly bill? Do you experience pass by your cable box? If the answer is yes, who are you gonna call? DirecTV Stream.
What is going on with Hollywood Brown? To Cardinals.
To the Cardinals. Going to the Cardinals.
Wow.
What's the deal? Do we know?
Let's see. For the 23rd pick.
Oh.
Wow.
I just saw that. Yeah, 23rd pick.
Well, that's big.
That's the 4th trade in the first round.
Yep. Mine is not looking very good. It's not looking very good.
Okay. I got McDuffie going here to the Washington Commanders. Chargers are on deck. I got an easy one for the Chargers. I don't know if it happens or not.
Yeah, let's see what we got here. Yeah, I got obviously them picking Andrew Booth Jr. here for the Commanders. Chargers are a little tougher for me because, their needs in my book aren't guys that you can address here necessarily. So linebacker and tight ends I viewed as their as kind of their primary needs, but also offensive
Yes, for
line.
all of you guys that are just tuning in, Hollywood Brown is on the move to the Cardinals. In return, the Ravens have acquired the first-round 23rd overall pick from the Cardinals. The Ravens have just selected Kyle Hamilton as their first overall pick, which is probably the best player in the draft. I don't know what the Ravens are up to. Teddy, any thoughts on what the Ravens could possibly be up to?
Dude, I have absolutely no idea. It's turning out to be a weird one, just like we sort of anticipated it could be. But yeah, I'm very confused as to what's going on here. Let's see. Yeah, so they got the 23rd pick.
So the Ravens going
Is
to
that
pick a wide receiver to replace him? I mean, they have to, I assume. Who's he throwing the ball to?
Yeah, so-
I mean, there's still a couple on the board that I wouldn't mind to see him going. You still got... Teddy, you don't even have him on the list.
Who?
You don't got Machete on the list? I think he could possibly be a first-round guy. Trayon Burks, they still got out there. George Pickens, Jahan Dotson, Christian Watson. Those are just some of the wide receivers that the Ravens could replace him with.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys left, but for anybody who doesn't know, we do a sports podcast, cover 5 sports every Monday, the Fresh Sports Hour, and we did this last time around talk about where Debo could possibly go in a trade, and I thought the Ravens were a great location, so I still think they are.
Oh, okay.
And now
That is
this-
true. You
now
did
this
say that on the
definitely-
podcast.
Yeah, now this definitely opens the door for him, so I guess we will see, right? But the
He
Commanders
played
pick is
lineman
in.
in college, I believe, Brady fan.
With the 16th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Jahan Dotson, wide receiver, Penn State.
Damn it.
So just so everybody knows, Jahan Dotson from Penn State just went. For anybody who doesn't know, I talked about him a little bit, where I actually thought that he was a wide receiver that is a do-everything guy, that he was being very underrated, and I thought he was going to slide all the way to the Pats at 21 potentially, and they would not be able to pass him up if he got there. I didn't see the Chargers going and getting him as a complimentary to Keenan Allen, just because I think that they are
That would be cool, Nikki.
a little similar to each other.
Nikki says maybe they use that pick to trade the San Fran for Debo.
Look, I hope so, because for me, I thought that he was the
pick
best
is
fit.
already in, and I've already had my paper filled out because I think I know exactly who the Chargers are getting. He went exactly where they needed him to go. Chargers go out and select Linderbaum, who I believe is a center. He has comparisons to Jason Kelsey. I think Tyler Linderbaum shores up that offense. What more do the Chargers need than they got in this free agency? They need a young lineman because they got a couple good linemen. They could be going somewhere. Justin Herbert got hit up a lot. He needs protection. You go get Tyler Linderbaum. Pick right now. That's why the pick was in so quickly. Teddy?
Look, I love your pick. I think that they get it wrong. I think that they fell in love with Kenyon Green. And I think that Linderbaum is the 4th best lineman in the draft. But I think they actually go Kenyon Green because Linderbaum, I think, he translates to really an all-pro center.
Who'd you say?
Kenyon Green.
With the 17th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Zion Johnson,
Zion!
college.
That's a great pick.
Look, so we
BC,
both got it
stand
wrong.
up.
Even though we knew where,
BC, stand up.
we knew which direction they were going to go, and we still got it wrong. They picked Zion Johnson. I actually think that this is a great pick.
I love it. I just didn't think he was going to go this early.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to go this early either. I actually thought that he was going to go later in the first round.
Congrats to another BC guy, baby. BC's our hometown. We've got some fresh leads in the NBA, NCAA basketball world. We're hoping to see their name get called one day.
Okay.
We're hoping it's a fresh lead one of these days.
So just a couple of the
Philly
Eagles
traded.
just traded their pick.
Eagles traded to Tennessee. That makes number 5. The over is hit.
The over has hit.
I bold predicted over 6. Tennessee has jumped in. Where did Tennessee jump from? Tennessee was at 26.
So
Does this make you sad as an Eagles fan or happy?
I'm already sad, so it does nothing for me. So, just in terms of Zion Johnson, he's a BC kid. Let's just give him his flowers now. He is not, to me, athletically dominant, but what he lacks in athletic dominance, he makes up for with being one of the most sound players at his position in the entire draft. He does everything right, regardless of the fact that he's not necessarily physically overwhelming. So just want to put that out there. And then in terms of the Titans, what do we have written down for needs?
A.J. Brown to the Eagles for 18? Whoa!
Yo!
We said there were going to be crazy wide receivers all over the place because of money now.
Yo, Dennis, we got this, baby.
Wow, A.J. Brown to the Eagles.
We got this, baby. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Oh, my God. So we got Eagles, New Orleans, and Pittsburgh. Tennessee jumped up in front of the Saints, in front of the Steelers.
Yeah, and their pick is in already. What do we have what do we have for Tennessee?
Titans. Even the Titans believe they have their starting 5 offensive linemen already on the roster. There's a need to add depth up front. Same goes for the running back position behind Derrick Henry, who missed half of 2021.
Yeah, it's tough because I don't think that any of those needs can be filled here.
Why trade A.J. Brown?
Well, so A.J. Brown was part of that group that wants out. It's Debo, A.J. Brown, and DK Metcalf.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Dennis, we are looking up now. I mean, it would have been nice to pair him with, on the other end of the ball, having Kyle Hamilton, but we can't be angry. Where did AJ go? AJ is now an Eagle, baby.
Yes, just so everybody knows, the Titans have traded A.J. Brown for the 18th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. The 18th pick of the NFL Draft is now the Titans. A.J. Brown is now an Eagle. The pick is in. I have them. The only thing that makes sense is you jump in front of the Saints, the Steelers, and the Packers, if you want to say, for a quarterback. So I'm thinking it's Malik Willis. I still think Sam Howell is the one that should be off the board first. I hope my bold prediction stays true. But in a sense of a numbers game, I have to go Malik Willis.
Look, as far as I'm projecting, I don't have an area of need here that they can fill. So I'm going to go with best player available, and that's Jermaine Johnson.
You trade
still being on the board.
Your all-star wide receiver for best available? Or
Yeah.
you trade your all-star wide receiver because he wants to be out,
Because he
and
wants
you
to be
have
out
a
and
good
you can't-
choice of JJ getting a guy that should have been top 10. You get him at 18. You get rid of the contract. You get rid of the wide receiver that's having trouble right now. But now you're in trouble offensively.
Yeah, look, here's the thing. I'm not in the belief that, and some teams may be okay with it, but I don't think that you can trade a player, a sort of a Pro Bowl caliber player, and then go get another guy at his same position. I don't think you can do that. I think you put too much unnecessary pressure on the player. So even though there are a lot of really good wide receivers still left, I don't think you can do that to any one guy. And so that's why I think you have to go best available. I just think they needed to get rid of him.
What does this mean for the Eagles having Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown with a guy? I wish Rydall was on here right now. Rydall is probably going crazy right now over on Loop because Rydall has so many Jalen Hurts. That man's stock just went through the roof. If you were into sports card collecting and you were holding on to Jalen Hurts, congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, I think as long as they can get him to work out well there, then they're going to be absolutely
So it's
unstoppable.
the final details. Eagles get A.J. Brown and only give up the 18th overall pick and the 2022 third round pick.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's easily a steal.
So we got
I love it.
Titans, New Orleans, and Pittsburgh. Do we see a quarterback off the board in the next 3 picks? 18, 19, 20.
We have to, right?
Right?
And you're right in thinking a quarterback goes here because the Titans traded up in front of the 2 teams that we had talked about potentially being the teams that pull the trigger on a quarterback.
You also can't believe in Ryan Tannehill long term if you're trying to build a team.
No, but here's the thing, right? Is that I had a surprise pick at 9, I think it was 9 or 10, somewhere. The Saints going up and grabbing Malik Willis.
Yep.
And then most people thought the most natural fit for Malik Willis was Pittsburgh at 20.
Yep.
So could Tennessee be jumping up to make sure they get Malik Willis? And would they necessarily favor him over Kenny Pickett? I'm not sure.
Nikki says Pittsburgh is 100% taking a quarterback. So no matter what, there's a quarterback off the board in Nikki's mind in the next 3 picks. Teddy agrees. I agree. Let's see what happens. Titans pick is in. I have to assume it's JJ with you, but again, if it's going to be a quarterback, why? If you know New Orleans and Pittsburgh are taking a quarterback, you can't tell me that the Patriots, the Packers, the Ravens, or the Cowboys wouldn't love A.J. Brown.
Look, I agree with you, but in terms of
Here it is.
of the Steelers, they need defensive line.
The Philadelphia Eagles have traded the 18th pick to the Tennessee Titans. With the 18th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Traylon Burks,
Burks!
receiver, Arkansas.
Cole is in the building. Cole, am I hella delayed, or did you call that before it happened? Am I hella delayed, or did you call that mad early? I like Burks.
Yeah, I think Burks is a good pick. I think in terms of special, I don't know, but like the crazy part about him is
A.J. Brown and Deebo Samuel.
that's
who
what
they
I was
compare
about
him
to say. The crazy thing is when I was looking at him, I said he reminds me of A.J. Brown.
You have him as your player comparison as A.J. Brown as well.
Yeah,
So they traded A.J. Brown to get A.J. Brown.
yeah.
Did you guys-
But this one they don't have to pay.
Did you hear what they said about him?
No.
He had to get gloves custom made because his hands are so big.
They're massive. They're massive.
Is he as fast as those guys too? How quick is this kid?
He was pretty darn fast. Yeah, they have him as Deebo Samuel. I think it's a good comparison. The kid runs people over. After he catches the ball, he just shrugs you off. He's got a dirty stiff arm. He's without question he's going to end up on one of those highlights where he puts somebody into the ground with a stiff arm. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
All right, so that was a tough one. This has been a crazy draft so far, guys. We called it here early.
Yeah,
we said
we
there
knew
was
it.
going to be. I thought there was going to be a lot of trades. Red shirt is right. Contract test was coming up, so it's not bad to get a pick for him and draft. Yeah, for sure. Get an extra pick. They also get the draft, and they get a guy, as Red Shirt says, as a player comparison of A.J. Brown. So they get a guy a lot similar to A.J. Brown.
Well, to what you're saying, what it looks like now that you have to pay wide receivers $20 million a year. And what we said was that because of that, you're likely to see guys get drafted instead of paying for that guy. So they traded A.J. Brown for A.J. Brown, but now they don't have to pay A.J. Brown $22 million next year.
The thing that sucks for me right now is the Patriots guy is falling to the Patriots, and I really don't want it. Another receiver. I'm wanting the Steelers to draft Malik. Yeah, wide receivers getting big money. That's what we were talking before pre-draft is because of how much money the wide receivers are demanding now, will there be a lot of wide receivers taken? And we both agreed yes, and I think so far it's been really correct.
Yeah.
6 wide receivers have been selected and 2 wide receivers have been traded already. Let me say that again. 6 wide receivers already drafted and 2 have been traded. That's what's happening in the wide receiver contract. First time 6 wide receivers are in the top 20 in the common draft era. That's since 1967. How crazy is that? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, we were literally just talking about it. So if any of you guys were, still on that were on earlier, you know that's something that we've been talking about. Actually,
for sure,
this
Skinny.
is my pick here. So, yeah, I mean, I don't have them picking a quarterback here, although they probably should. I have them picking Trevor Penning, the offensive lineman from Northern Iowa. So
I got them taking cornerback in McDuffie. I think McDuffie has proven to a lot of people that he is a top-tier cornerback. I think the Saints could really use a top-tier cornerback to that defense. It's one of their big team needs. So I have them drafting a cornerback here. And I think it's McDuffie. It could obviously be Booth as well, but I think it's going to end up being McDuffie.
Yeah, who do we think is getting picked here? Anybody got any guesses?
A.J. Brown to Philly. Love you, Howie.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing.
How many Eagles fan we got in the chat right now?
Hopefully a lot.
Seems like a few.
Could you pass me that wide receiver chart?
Wide receivers here.
I think we got one more kid on the board.
The Patriots guy is falling right to him. Tyler Lindenbaum. I've been trying to speak him into existence prior, but I just feel like he's a Bill guy written all over him. I don't want the Patriots to take an offensive lineman, although it probably could help Mac. I think they have a decent enough offensive lineman. They just run into injuries. So the depth will certainly help, but I just think Tyler Lindenbaum is a prototypical guy for Bill, and he's also a guy that can replace our center. So,
yeah,
I think that's falling that. We're trending that way. Right now we got Saints, Pittsburgh, and then New England.
Yeah, so I just want everybody to be on alert for Christian Watson out of North Dakota State. I personally think that he is going to be the best wide receiver out of this draft. I know he doesn't get a whole lot of love, but let's just keep an eye out for him because somewhere between 19 and 24 is where I had him slated. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, I originally thought that he was likely going to be a Cardinal, but we'll see. We'll see where he ends up now. Oh, I thought they were making the pick right now. Yes.
As the sole air refueling wing in Europe and Africa, we project air power around the globe. We have the largest U.S. fighter operation in Europe, ready to employ combat air power at a moment's notice.
We are the only U.S. Air Force Special Operations Forces in Europe and Africa.
With our European allies, we own the skies.
Back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you to our U.S. Air Force service members and all those serving our great nation domestically and around the world. With the 19th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Trevor Penning.
Oh, it seems like we're a little delayed and people are ahead of us. Stop spoiling it.
I'm back on the board. I got one right. Got off my
Nice pick.
multiple pick skid here.
They had him being taken by the Saints at 16, so it makes sense at 19 that they grab him.
Yeah.
So now you got Pittsburgh, New England, Green Bay.
Yeah, I mean, if nobody's watching right now, it's 6'7", 325. He's damn good with his arms or with his hands. His super long arms. He really is sort of a almost a steal at this point for that system. I think he is a little raw. And as I said it, they just said
There's
he's
a
little
trade.
raw.
There is a trade. The Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock. What?
No, there's no trade.
Oh. Ha! I lied. I thought it said trade and then it showed Pittsburgh. I think it just got off to the thing.
Yeah, I think there should be a consensus here on.
Everyone's saying Malik.
Yeah, I think there should be a consensus here. Now, here's where the curveball is, right? Is that they have a need on the defensive line. They have a guy who is best available on the board, who is the slide of the draft so far. He said, bro, do not say trade like that.
Sorry.
Don't worry. It won't be until the Pats pick. So Yeah, I mean, I think
Kyle
Malik.
Pickett's girl's like 1 million off the board, 2 million off the board, 3 million off the board,
Right.
4 million off the board.
I think the natural pick here should be Malik Willis. We talked about it. He was my guy that I said would be a perfect, pick and perfect fit for this team. If he doesn't go here, I'll be a little sad because I think that there isn't any pressure for him to step in day one if he goes here. So I really liked it for him. I really liked it for the Steelers. I think that Mitch can hold it down in the meantime, and then they can put the kid in, and
I'm
Eagles
so
succeed.
excited to say that Pittsburgh fucks this up and Patriots trade and somebody grabs their pick. Patriots are going to get a good value for this first pick because Steelers are going to fuck this up and take JJ. Not saying that they don't fuck it up by taking JJ because JJ should be a pick right here. Saying that they mess it up by they go take JJ here and then the Patriots are sitting in prime position to trade as always and get max value for that trade. I think it could happen. I don't think the Steelers could take Malik Willis. I think they believe in Mitch the bitch enough.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? We have no idea what's going to happen with the Patriots. So, real quick, one of the players...
I love the Steelers. I'm a big Ben fan. He can attest to that. Yeah. That's why I don't think that they take Malik Willis here. Tomlin has never had a quarterback like this.
Yeah.
In Mitch Trubisky, you have a quarterback that was like Ben Roethlisberger,
Yeah.
so you're able to do what you do best and just win games. I think Malik Willis gets you to start thinking about when do I make that switch? What offense do I have to play when I make that switch? Now you're starting to change stuff for Mitch. Now Mitch isn't winning. Now you pull Malik in early. Now Malik's not winning because the offense isn't quite set up, and now you're in trouble. Now you got a young quarterback that suffered. Now you got Mitch the bitch who's not winning. Now you're in trouble. I don't think they make that mistake.
So I do. And I don't think it's a mistake. Somebody just asked, who do I think the Pats are going to take?
It depends on who's picked here for me.
Yeah, I don't think it matters who's picked here. I think Daxton Hill. He was on my Big Four list, the safety out of Michigan. I think when you find a guy with scheme versatility who can play the corner, who can play safety,
I would love that.
He's tailor-made. And I don't know who I put down as my player comp early on because I did safeties early, but I actually my player comp was Devin McCourty. Yeah, after I looked at the tape more. So it would literally fit perfect. My player comp was Devin McCourty. I think Daxton Hill goes to the Patriots.
Kenny Pickett. Is that really the pick? You told us early last time. Boo. Stop telling us early.
Yeah, if Kenny Pickett is the pick, I'm going to be real angry with you. Don't tell us to pick early. We're watching it on the Roku TV, so we might have a little bit of a delay from what it looks like. I hope the LOL means that you're just guessing.
He's been right every time. I already wrote Pickett in my sheet. So now I can think about the Patriots. The pick is in. New England Patriots. They have to trade here.
No, I don't think they have to trade. I think Daxton Hill fits the Patriots system. And I think he fits exactly what they want to do.
I would love Daxton Hill. I just think they get max value if they trade their pick right now because someone wants Malik Willis. Everyone thought Malik would be the first one off the board. Now that Kenny Pickett's off the board, if CJ's right.
Remember when I said JJ did not put good film on and was not good at the combine, and I hated him going, but I understood that people had him rated high and they had to go. Well, he's still on the board, and I believe he's been the best player available on the board. On a lot of people's best available list for about 12 or 13 picks now. So, very interesting. I think they're going to the pick right now.
CJ, please do not ruin the Patriots pick for me. If you're going to ruin every other pick, it's fine, but just not the Patriots one. Please. Steelers pick is in. The pick is in with Franco Harris.
This season marks the
Wow, Franco Harris was even shocked.
one of the most memorable moments in NFL history.
Franco Harris is shocked at the pick.
Final seconds of the 1972 AFC divisional game, Franco Harris made an improbable catch known as the Immaculate Reception.
The Immaculate Reception.
To celebrate the 50th anniversary of that moment, And to announce the pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers, please welcome Pro Football Hall of Famer Franco Harris.
Oh, this is incredible. You got the right thing. This is incredible. Oh my gosh. Hello, Las Vegas. Wow. I love this. I love this.
Do not have a stream. We can tell you what's going on right here.
In the 2022 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Kenny Pickett.
Woo!
Quarterback, Pittsburgh.
There's the first quarterback off the board. First quarterback off the board is Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, I don't know if I should go on my rant now or if I should wait. I absolutely hate this pick.
It makes sense for the Steelers, though, as I was saying. Malik Willis was not their quarterback. If you're going to get a quarterback that you hope can coach by Tomlin, it's Kenny Pickett or Sam Howell. Sam Howell's a little too small. Kenny Pickett's the guy. If Steelers had to get a quarterback in this draft, which clearly now we see that it is, it had to be.
Yeah, so somebody just said go on the rant, let it all out. I will. And look, I'm not a Pittsburgh fan by any means. I'm an Eagles fan. But yeah, here's what we should do. We should be in Pittsburgh where the weather can get rough, and we should choose the quarterback that has the smallest hands since Mike Vick. That's a great idea. Let's pick a quarterback who doesn't have elite arm strength, who doesn't have elite accuracy downfield, who does nothing great. And who a lot of people think has likely hit his ceiling already. Like I said, I had him slated as a third-round quarterback. I hate this pick. And it's not because of Pittsburgh. I hated this pick to anybody who would jump up in the first round and grab this guy. So it just happens to be that it's Pittsburgh, but they missed out here. Where is he going to fit in? Do we think that he's going to outplay Mitch Trubisky at any point? Maybe in his career? I don't think so. I absolutely hate this. This is ugly. I just think they wasted a pick. This kid is not going to progress and get any better. Yes, he has a little bit of swagger. Yes, he can throw on the move a little bit. But other than that, he's a career backup. You just grabbed a career backup to basically back up your career backup. This is insane.
I don't disagree with you. I think they were pressured into the pick. Kansas City Chiefs are on the clock. There has been a trade. Kansas City Chiefs are on the clock. Patriots have made a trade. Who would have thunk it? Who in the world would have thunk the Patriots make a trade?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. The Chiefs looking at Tyler Lindenbaum, who you thought that the Patriots were going to pick, but I also had them looking at Daxton Hill.
I also thought who you thought the Patriots would take?
Yeah,
I'm sticking with Linderbaum here.
Yeah, this is a very interesting pick because the two guys that the guys that we both thought the Patriots were going to pick, we had on the Chiefs board somewhere. And it was about which one of them fell to him.
They haven't showed the details yet.
So you're going with Lindenbaum, right?
I have to. I thought the Patriots wanted him.
I'm going to go with Daxton Hill. And it's really for the same reason. I thought the Patriots wanted him. But, we talked about it pre-draft that none of us would be surprised.
Neither one of them are technically team needs either, if you think about it.
No, none of them are team needs. But they were players that we thought that they were likely gonna look at. I don't know who.
I'm going to switch my pick up last second before it comes in and take Teddy's other pick that he was talking about, Dotson. I think wide receiver Dotson goes here to replace Tyreek Hill. I think Dotson's probably a good comparison. He's a Deontay Johnson comparison, small guy, 5'11", 178.
I think Dotson already went. He went to the Commanders, right?
Oh, fuck, I didn't cross him off my list.
Yeah, he was gonna be a great pick there.
Son of a bitch. All right, back to Linderbaum.
Yeah, I think Linderbaum probably is
I didn't cross him off my big board.
A good option there. Let's see who some of the other people
what's up next? So we got Green Bay and then Baltimore. Green Bay and then Baltimore. Green Bay and then Baltimore. You know who the real pick is here?
Jermaine Johnson?
Obviously.
Well, I don't know why either of us are looking anywhere but Jermaine Johnson, who has absolutely slipped and absolutely fits a need for him. I'm going to stick with my pick.
But
if I were you, I would probably switch to JJ.
It feels a humongous 3 picks for 1.
I literally forgot that he was there.
3. Pat's got the 29th, 94th, and 121st. 3 picks for 1.
Wow. That's wild. That's crazy. Yeah. This is a weird situation here for the Chiefs.
I think it has to be JJ. Why are you trading 3 picks for 1?
Yeah, that's
Not
true.
to go get Linderbaum, maybe to get Hill.
Yeah.
Not to get Linderbaum. You don't need to move up that high to get either one of those.
Correct. Even to get Hill, you could have stood back and said, I'm going to get one of these guys.
Yeah.
So your JJ pick is probably right. I'm going to stick with Daxton Hill, but your JJ pick is probably onto something.
All right, well, Patriots are still in the first round, though. I like that. Patriots are still in the first round. I do like that a lot.
Yeah, maybe they think they can get Linderbaum all the way at the 29th. I don't think he'll last that long,
There's
but
other guys
we'll see.
besides Linderbaum that I'd be happy with at that point. At 29,
Yeah.
there's plenty of help there.
Yeah.
All right, here's the pick.
The New England Patriots have traded the 21st pick to the Kansas City Chiefs. With the 21st pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Trent
McDuffie!
Washington.
McDuffie!
Wow. So he should have gone earlier, but I'm surprised that he went there. That's an interesting one for me.
I told you McDuffie goes before Booth.
Yeah, it's a little wild to me. Like I said, I like him, but I'm surprised that he went there. That's an interesting one for me. Which means, if anybody is paying attention or has been paying attention, that Jermaine Johnson is still on the board. And I agree with you that it was not a bad trade at all. I think that the Pats have their eyes on a few players, and I think that it is likely that they get their hands on one of those players. There's just not enough picks with enough need that in 7 picks, they're going to get all of their players taken.
So I realize why you go up and make that pick. You go up and make that pick in that trade because the Ravens are sitting there 2 picks behind you. And we already thought McDuffie was slated to go to the Ravens. Ravens surprised us and went with not surprised us, went with Hamilton first. And now they were going to
likely, yeah.
And that's why Kansas City trades up and go get some.
Yeah.
We're on the Green Bay now, or we get some more?
Yeah, we're on to Green Bay now. I have my Green Bay pick. The pick is in. I have mine, and I think it's Christian Watson. And that's the wide receiver out of North Dakota State that I said will be the best wide receiver in the draft. It makes sense to pair him with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers just lost Devontae Adams. And I had for a player comp, I think Pittman Jr. is what I had for a player comp. Yeah. But I actually don't hate the Devontae Adams replacement here with Christian Watson. So if the Packers front office is as smart as they claim they are, I think they go Christian Watson here.
I agree with your position. I think Pickens is higher on Green Bay's draft board. I got them taking Pickens. I think it's a pretty close player comparison to Devontae Adams. We get him compared to Keenan Allen. One and the same kind of. Obviously, Devontae Adams had a little bit more skill. Keenan Allen was still a solid wide receiver. But I honestly think that it has to be George Pickens. I got him a little higher on my board than I do Christian Watson. But we'll see what happens here with the Packers pick. Their in was picked quick.
Yeah, and so does this
They're
set
saying
up,
the same thing.
Yeah, and does this set up the Ravens to go get a guy that we both thought that they had a chance to go get at 14, which we actually thought was going to be a pretty good value for him at 14. Like I said, I didn't love him in Jermaine Johnson, but we thought he was going to be targeted at 14 by the Ravens, and now they have a chance to go up and get him at 23 after bringing in Hamilton.
I think they absolutely have to, because if not, you're looking at the Cowboys sitting there behind him, and he definitely gets off the board come the Cowboys. That's a big need for the Cowboys, and the Ravens don't got anything else after that. So I think the Ravens can come out very, very successful in getting 2 guys that were projected top 10 in 14 and 23. So I think the Ravens have to go with JJ.
Well, and then we begin to start to have a discussion if we talk about the Giants and the Ravens, right? Is the Giants had a great beginning of the draft, and now we have the Ravens getting what people view as 2 top 10 guys. Now there's a question, right? Now there's a question about who had the best first round. Obviously, the picks are much higher for the Giants, but you got guys that could have been taken at 5 and 7. Yeah. So if they do go up and get, or if they do get JJ with that next pick, with pick number 23, that would be very interesting.
All right, pick us in.
With the 22nd pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Trayvon Walker, linebacker, Georgia.
Wow. I hate that pick. I don't think there should have been a linebacker taken in the first round.
Yeah, this is a shock.
I don't even have him on my board in the first round.
No, he's not on
possibles.
Yeah, he's not on my board either. And this is wild. I actually thought that the first linebacker that was going to be taken was Nakobe Dean. This is a very interesting pick because he's, to me, undersized to be an inside linebacker.
Baltimore has traded their pick. Baltimore has traded their pick to the Bills.
To the Bills.
The Bills have jumped up and taken Baltimore's pick.
Wow. And where are they trading from?
The Bills are the 25th.
25th. That is interesting.
So was it the 25th to jump in front of the 24th Cowboys?
Yeah, so now we have to question whether or not the Ravens actually like JJ. Like, do they actually value Jermaine Johnson, or do they feel how I felt, where nothing about him was impressive?
It seems like everyone's thinking like you thought, that nothing was very impressive.
Yeah, because he is clearly the slide of the draft right now, and yeah, I don't understand why the Ravens would trade out here, because he looked like a player that they were going to value and to try to go up and get at 13, and then they have a chance to still get him, and they don't. That is very interesting. I don't know.
Titans, why?
Yeah.
Sorry, we got an Eagle fan sitting in all red over here. He's happy about the trade.
Yeah, man, I love it. I'm sorry, but at least you got a guy that you don't have to pay a big contract to right now.
Jesse, are you listening?
And we'll see what happens. Yeah, this is an interesting move because the Bills.
I don't think it's too interesting.
Yeah, who do you think the Bills are taking? Because
Linderbaum. If Linderbaum's as good as I think he is, and he's as high on my board as he is on the Bills and the Cowboys board, it makes the most sense. I believe the Bills go win an AFC championship this year and win the Super Bowl. I believe Josh Allen is the MVP of the season. I think they go and protect him. I think the Cowboys had the same idea for Zeke and Dak, and I think they had to go make that move. So it's either Lindenbaum or who's the other lineman that we're high on?
Kenyon Green.
Green.
Yeah.
So I think it's either Lindenbaum or Green. I'm sure you probably got Green. You're higher on Green. I'm higher on Lindenbaum.
Yeah, I do. I have Kenyon Green getting picked here. However, it is tough because I think we still have a...
Raiders, I looked at the clock. It said 4:20 as I'm going to dab.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a smart trade for the Eagles, but I think it was also a good move for the Titans in their situation to get off of a player who's clearly disgruntled going into a contract year. You're going to have to pay the guy. So I do think it was actually a win-win situation for both of them. And, yeah, I think you couldn't find necessarily a better fit. And maybe Baltimore would have been a better fit for A.J. Brown, but other than that, I think the Eagles are probably the best fit. And I don't know if Baltimore necessarily wanted to pay him. We'll happily pay him in Philly. Yeah, I got no problems with that. Watching this as I wait to clock into my shift. Go Ravens. Yeah, look, man, I don't know how to feel about your Ravens. And thank you for tuning in, but, you know, your Ravens, I think, had a chance to go get a second defensive player that was a sort of game changer. And so I'm wondering if they are, trading out to add an additional corner.
Yeah, dilly.
Add an additional corner. Or, it'd be tough to... Look, Daxton Hill might still be available. And then you get a guy who you brought in... Kyle Hamilton at safety, and then you can maybe get a guy in Daxton Hill who can play safety and corner and really shut things down back there.
Ooh, you talking about the Ravens?
Know. Yeah. I don't. It's weird. I don't know what they're planning on doing.
I assume our 2 picks. I assume the next 2 picks are Kenyon Green and Tyler Linderbaum. To be honest, I assume that's both of the next 2 picks.
JJ's got to go somewhere, man. Like, I hate him.
Where do you see him going, though? Honestly, he could slide out of the first round.
Yeah.
At this point, he could slide out of the first round. I don't see the Eagles taking him. The Buccaneers could take him. The Packers already traded up, or they still got another one there too, huh? The Packers, I don't know. I don't know. Right now we got Bills pick is in, Dallas, and then Baltimore.
Yeah, this is an interesting spot to be at for the Bills because, like Bert mentioned, they are a team that we think is ready to not only compete but to really make a run.
Sorry, guys, low battery mode.
Uh-oh.
Jesse, is the other phone charging?
Got a low battery situation on the good old TikTok stream. We'll get it right. But yeah, the Bills look like they're ready to compete. So I think the question is like, what do they think is going to get them over the top? I had a need for them coming in being some defensive line help, but I don't think that they addressed that here. I don't think they needed to jump up to address that. I also
so the
had
Bills
a
got
corner.
Bills get the 23rd, Ravens got the 25th, and the 4th pick in a 4th round pick. Sorry to cut you off, T.
Yeah, no, and that's good value if they still think they can go get their guy. But I think the only reasonable expectation is that the Bills go and get an offensive lineman here. Which one it's going to be, I don't know. But I don't see any.
I don't think it matters between the two. It just depends on what their need is more.
Yeah, and look, if it were me, I want Lindenbaum. If it's me, I think that he steps in and bold prediction, he makes an all-pro center out of himself within 2 years.
I like that prediction.
Have traded the 23rd pick to the Buffalo Bills.
The pick is in.
With the 23rd pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Kaiir Elam, defensive back,
Corner.
Florida.
Yeah,
Wow.
so they went corner, and not a bad corner, not a bad pick. I think that was actually a good pick. Like I said, there was a lot of questions. Yeah, like I said, there were a lot of questions as to who the pick would be, and honestly, this is kind of a steal. He's kind of been the forgotten man. He's got pretty good size. He's really physical. And for a guy his size, he's fluid. I think he can end up being the guy that you end up like putting onto your number one receiver. It's just going to take him a couple of years to get there. Yeah, I don't know how great his ball skills are. I think they're a little overrated. I think they rated him a little high in terms of his overall ball skills. But I think that he translates to a starter long term.
The nice thing about this kid is he played for Florida, so he played against some top-tier competition for the most part.
Yeah.
So you know that he can hold his own. Trading up and getting that pick, I don't see that. I don't see that the Ravens or the Cowboys were going to pick it, so I don't know why.
I think it was just their guy, and they weren't giving up a ton to get him, so they just wanted to secure him. Now, like,
perfect thought.
Yeah, and here's the thing: he has two glaring weaknesses, and neither of them are too bad. One, he's going to get a lot of flags downfield, but like that's something that you can fix. The other thing is you can just beat him up as a wide receiver because he's not aggressive getting off blocks. But other than that, like he's okay. So I don't hate that pick.
What is this draft telling us the most right now?
I think it's telling us a couple things. I think one, that were all over the place. Like that the talent that came in this year was so scattered that this is the most picks that we've gotten wrong in years.
I won an award twice at a Patriots draft party for picking the first 10 right.
Yeah, and look, he's usually pretty spot on. This draft we knew coming in was going to be crazy. But I think too, the other thing that we're realizing is that people aren't going to pay wide receivers. And that's why all of these great wide receivers are going. It's because people understand the writings on the wall. These wide receivers are going to make $22, $25, million a year. As these quarterbacks continue to get paid, their weapons are going to continue to get paid. And so I think people are trying to shore up their wide receivers and shore up their wide receiver depth.
Jesse, grab the phone.
Their wide receiver depth in anticipation of really just the fact that we are not going to get a lot of these wide receivers on their second contract. I think that's the big thing.
Really quick TikTok. Our phone is about to die. We can't charge it because it's plugged in through the Roadcaster for this podcast. We are about to end this live stream and start a brand new one. Make sure you hop on lickety split. We'll be back in 32 seconds. Come find us again, Fresh Pulse. Wow, look at that. 20.2 thousand views.
Hey.
20.2 thousand people came in on the blog.
Well, I don't necessarily blame them. We got you running the board. We got some interesting stuff going on. I don't hate it. I think clearly this shows that there's a
Tyler Smith.
Yeah, so this is kind of shocking, mostly because, Jerry Jones, him not picking Johnny Manziel years ago, him being talked out of a few picks. It's very interesting to sort of see how he's changing on the fly, because I would not have thought that this was a pick that he would make. Am not. Yeah, I'm not hearing us here.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked that this pick got picked here. Tyler Smith, I think he's a solid player. He's got bank. In my wildest dreams that people would continue to let Jerry Jones make solid picks. I thought at some point it would run out and we would no longer see this. But he's holding strong.
I like the pick for sure. I think there's a couple guys higher on my board, obviously, but the thing about this draft that we keep talking about is that there was no, besides a few players, there was no, the positional breakdown between wasn't
the thing about this draft that we keep
large in between each pick like normal.
Oh. No,
besides a few 2, 3, and 4 at the same position.
Yeah.
This year it's also mushed up between 1 to 10 in each position. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think we talked about early, there were 5 or 6 elite players, and then everybody else, there's a lot of really good players in the first round, but they were all bunched up together. So it was we don't necessarily know. Are they finally going to go get JJ? Did they just look at it and get the most value they could, understanding that nobody else was going to snatch him up multiple times? And did they?
Sure, man. I honestly think that they could end up taking the safety. What's his name? Knox?
Yeah.
Daxton Hill. I'm sorry, Knox. I think obviously.
Who didn't value for them at 20 for the Patriots to still get their guy. Let's just hope that it's not N'Kobe Dean, the linebacker, because I thought that was the worst possible pick.
I agree. I don't agree with your pick. Who you took?
Yeah, Jermaine Johnson. Hill, right?
I took Hill. I think that the Ravens solidify their defensive needs, solidify that secondary. As Teddy said earlier, Hill is a guy that can play corner or safety. So you get a versatile guy that can play multiple positions. You already got Hamilton who can play multiple positions. It really solidifies that secondary for a really good Ravens team that just need a little extra help getting over the hump. And I think they're right about there. I think they can get over that hump with one good pick in either JJ, Hill, Booth, I think is another good pick. So 3 picks I wouldn't mind here for the Ravens. And then we're discussing did they win and not the Giants. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? Like, people might be looking and saying, okay, well, they got Kyle Hamilton, so, like, why would they need Daxton Hill? But, like, exactly what you mentioned is correct. Like, you have a guy already in Kyle Hamilton who has scheme versatility, and then you get another one who played both corner and safety in Daxton Hill, and you create almost a legion where you had Earl Thomas who was able to roam while Cam Chancellor got downhill, and they could just really switch back and forth seamlessly, and like you'd have that situation for a team that loves defense. I thought it would be a terrible pick, but we had him eyeing him at 13. If they can still get a guy that we thought they liked at 13 at 25, that's wild, and that's crazy value. And like you said, they are one pick away right now from actually potentially winning this. Up of that, they still got trade value back in return for trading back. That would be a question of whether them or the Giants won that first round. So obviously still, let's hope it's Jermaine Johnson. That's who I picked.
With the 25th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select.
Yeah, here's the thing. We didn't think that they were going to go that route. But for anybody who wasn't on earlier, we absolutely love this kid. I predicted he's going to be an all-pro player in the next 2 years. I had him as my 4th. He's strong for his size. He's mean. He's great in pass blocking and run blocking.
Fast.
He's blazing fast.
Quick
who did I have as my player comp? Yeah, Jason Kelce was my player comp. So that tells you exactly what it is right there. So, do we have a trade on the board for
Titans trade to the Jets?
Wow.
Jets, who already got Sauce and Wilson. Wilson was the wide receiver?
Yes. Did they? So they got.
Right, Wilson's the wide receiver?
Yeah, Garrett Wilson. Yeah, so the Ohio State wide receiver and.
Sauce.
Yeah, and they got Sauce Gardner. This is interesting. This pick should be the most obvious of all of our picks tonight, but obviously it's been a rough night. So who knows?
Has to be.
It has to be, right? It's got to be JJ.
Now we're discussing if the Jets won.
Yeah.
Even though I think they lost because they didn't get Hamilton, now we're discussing if they won.
Well, it puts them in the mix because, look, here's the thing. Even though the Ravens didn't go get Jermaine Johnson, I think they're still in the conversation because I think if there was somebody who was devalued based on their 15 talent in this draft, it was Linderbaum. And because he translated best as a center, I think that's where some of his questions came from as to where you should draft him. That in when you talk about an athlete, this is what makes him special. Yes, he was a wrestler. So those guys tend to transfer pretty well to offensive linemen. Guys that at 10, but I understood it. And then the question is, can they go out and get the edge rusher they need? If they can, they addressed the 3 major linebacker in the second round.
The Jets have traded back up into the left.
Tennessee Titans have traded the 26th pick to the New York Jets. With the 26th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Jermaine Johnson, linebacker, Florida State.
Exactly what Teddy said as far as why they had to do it. It addresses all of their draft needs in the first round.
Yeah, there can be questions about who the best wide receiver was or if they picked the right wide receiver at 10. I personally don't think so, but like the fact still remains, like there's such
This
a
kid's
small
crying. Oh, it's his brother.
there's such a small difference between the wide receivers. So, like, it out with a defensive end that most people had as top 10. Immediately put yourselves in the conversation of who got the best value. And like, here's the thing. The kid is long. He uses his arms well for his length. He has some. He's got good bend. I think he has to work on his strength. He has a great spin.
WrestleMania.
He is as a top 10 guy. But at 26.
Whoa. They already got Walker. Jacksonville's on the clock.
Yeah, this is an interesting position for Jacksonville to be in. Yeah, wow.
How they can get.
Yeah, this is a very interesting to trade anything to try to get up a position where they're saying this is not acceptable. So yeah, this is wild. I don't know about who could be or any guesses about who could be here. Who I think personally is the best player available.
I lost track on first. Over 10.
Yeah, without question, the over on 4.5 got smashed. For the Jags here, this is tough, man. I'm going to make this pick with my heart. I don't think there's a lot of players on the board right now, if any, that are this kid. I said it earlier that I thought he was going to be the best wide receiver out of this nasty wide receiver class. And I'm going with Christian Watson out of North Dakota State. I think this kid is disgusting. When you project a college player to pros, I don't think there's anything in this kid outside of him being from a school that is a smaller school in North Dakota State that I didn't like about him. Some people thought that So here's the thing, right? Christian Watson.
Pick is in already.
Out of North Dakota State, I think has to be the pick here because I didn't see any other need for them in the first round. And this value that you're getting on him is great. To put this into perspective, why he's my favorite wide receiver. Not only was he, I just don't think, at this point, look, the Patriots seem to do whatever the hell they want to do in every draft.
Yep.
And when we talked about the draft and where the Patriots want to go was the first topic we covered, and I said Daxton Hill just fits. He just fits as a Patriot, and somehow he's still on the board here where I had him going well before this, and they traded back. It's now starting to seem like destiny once again for them, and wild. If they get Daxton Hill, I will be so for it, but look, we had 2 picks, and I wanted Kyle Hamilton, and I should have had him.
I agree.
There was no reason why I shouldn't, and instead, we pick a god-awful player.
Where is Malik Willis gonna go? That is the $1 million question at this point.
Well, it doesn't look like he's going on day one.
Daxton Hill 1, Malik Willis 2, Arnold Adebuke 3, Devin Lloyd 4, Nakombe Dean 5.
Yeah, so out of the top...
That's Mel's top 5.
Out of the top 5 players in Daxton Hill and Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean, I don't see it because he's just... First, he doesn't fit the physical profile. Second of all, he's not necessarily the smartest player. So that doesn't seem to fit the scheme. Obviously, Bill Belichick's scheme. So,
So Jaguars picks, you got to be in...
I got to be in Christian Watson. He is, to me, the best wide receiver in the class.
I got Green. I think they need a little help on their offensive line. I think Green could do it.
Yeah, I just think it might not be in the cards for him to go in the first round anymore. I don't know, man. When I look around, I just don't think that you jump up for him. I could be wrong, but honestly, I don't see many players that you jump up for at this point. So, for me, that's why I said, look, you got Christian Kirk. Who is not a true number 1, but you paid him in Jacksonville. You need to bring in a guy who can hopefully take some attention off of him. I think that's Christian Watson. But we'll see because the pick is in.
Let's find out. 9 trades. 9 trades. So what do you think with the Packers here? They get your boy Watson finally?
You know, I hope so. They could go with the defensive lineman.
You had them take. That was who you guessed.
Easier to prove when he just gets to step in and take Devontae Adams' spot and have Aaron Rodgers throwing in the ball. That would make a whole. Apparently, yeah. I think we're just gonna go here and New England, unless New England
Trades again?
trades out and goes to like the 31st pick. Then we might have to stick around.
Still the draft.
Look, I agree with you. I've been preaching it all night. I was preaching it pre-draft. I just don't think you can go wrong with that kid. And I think if he went to the Packers to replace Devontae Adams, it would be so natural of a fit. I just think it would make perfect sense. It would be so. Yeah, as soon as Aaron Rodgers is done. Yeah, they don't seem as excited as some of these other teams have seemed before making their pick, but
Max Borghi, best undrafted pick.
Oh,
I think they're talking about Watson now too.
They're talking about finding a wide receiver. Who are they talking?
2021 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year. I would love to thank the NFL,
It's going to be a whole speech.
the Payton family, and Nationwide for everything they do to support players as we try to make positive impacts in our communities.
No, this is special,
When
but
I
please
look
make
back
the pick.
over my time in the NFL, in my career over 16 years, and a Super Bowl champion, one of the most rewarding things about it was the platform I was able to build to help change people's lives with a lot of other teammates across the NFL and people in organizations. And I want to take this opportunity to challenge the players of the NFL and encourage you and the prospects of this NFL draft.
Come on.
Take advantage of that opportunity. Don't let it go. Let's leave a legacy that lasts longer than just the game field, but shows who you are on and off of it.
Come on.
To make an impact that'll last for generations. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, you're not even making the pick?
Wow, you said all that talking and didn't make the pick? Sheesh. It's the longest pick ever.
Andrew, great man. We're so proud of you. With the 28th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select
Devontae Watt.
Devontae Wyatt, defensive tackle, Georgia.
Yikes.
Okay. And so
New England has everybody they could possibly want.
Yeah.
defensive players
He is.
in the same draft.
He's a workhorse. He fits. He fits what you want in Green Bay. He's gonna play. He's gonna play well there. He has a great bull rush. He plays with power. I don't know who I had as a player comp for him. Maybe Marcel Darius. Yeah, I think he's. I mean, he's going to be special in certain.
Marcus Darius.
Yeah, and Marcus Darius has a player comp. He's going to be special in certain
New England's
situations.
pick is in quick.
Yeah, New England's pick is in very quick.
Who is it?
The question is, who is it going to be? Because, look, the four players I had on the board for the Patriots were Jahan Dodson. Comes from a big school, has scheme versatility. He can play the safety and play corner, and do think like that tends to happen to the Patriots.
I would love Christian Watson, though, as well.
Yeah, no.
Especially with everything you have to say about him.
Yeah, and Christian Watson would be great for that team.
Those are the two picks as a Patriots fan. I want one of them, too.
Yeah, but go ahead and read off who I had as a player comp. Yeah, he's got decent height, great top end speed. He's super athletic, can play both positions. He's not necessarily the greatest in run support, but he's a willing run supporter. He'll go down and he'll lay a big hit. He's not scared to. He will run downhill and run right through your line. There's no fear. He's just not necessarily the greatest tackler in terms of form. So in run support, that can get a little rough. And I think some of that worry is that his arm length was probably the only thing that was really a question mark from his measurables. And like, if you don't wrap up with great form and you don't have the longest arms to get off the blocks and run support, I think that's the only questions that they would have about Daxton Hill. But other than that, he seems tailor-made for Bill Belichick. And that's why I just thought, like, from the get-go that he was going to be the target unless he was gone early.
It's very fitting that this is going to be the last pick and we're at the 4-hour mark for us, even though we started like 10 minutes early before I remember to hit record. This has been a 4-hour podcast. We've had a lot of watch Pats get Malik Willis.
That would
We've
be
had
hilarious.
a lot of fun. Tune into our Monday podcast. We're going to start a Thursday